We're just going to give it a couple more minutes and then we will get started, inshallah. Just to give everybody a chance to come in. Okay, so let's get started, inshallah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa salatu salamu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everybody. Welcome to our very first live stream for Hajj 2025 year. My name is Danish. I'm one of the guides with Hajj with AE. We obviously have a presentation for you and a chance to share what our program is about what the Hajj process in 2025 looks like now for those of you who are maybe unfamiliar with it, and then give you a chance to ask any of the questions that you might have. So inshallah, we will get started. Obviously, Sheikh Abu Isa is here as well. We can see you, Sheikh, so this is good. So the agenda for today will be the new Hajj process, about who's who the service countries are when it comes to Nusuk. We have some resources that are available that we want to point to you so that you can, if you haven't gotten started, you can get started. What are some of the package considerations? When selecting a package in this new Nusuk system, what the landscape for, the Hajj itself looks like from a geographical location perspective. And then we get into our specific Hajj with AE Tarbiyah program. What does that look like? Who the team is, who's going to be there to support you from day one, basically until after the Hajj. What our program duration is. A sample schedule. We have a very, very structured program. And share some pictures from you from previous, our experience in 2024. Give you some package prices, so the Hajj with AE package, what it costed in 2024, and then just a checklist of things that you need to have done by now or be working towards, and then we'll open up to Q&A. So inshallah, we'll get started. So the new Hajj process, who's who in the zoo, as they say, as a lot of you may be familiar with it or not, Hajj is now exclusively booked for Western pilgrims through Nusuk itself. Nusuk is the portal where a lot of the logistics and package providers will upload their packages, and these packages will range basically from, in terms of their duration, in terms of other factors that we'll talk about in the next slides. And so only Saudi providers will be able to upload the packages onto Nusuk. And there's about, I believe, 12 or 13, let's say, partners or logistics providers. Al-Bayt is one of them. Al-Bayt is the biggest one. Al-Bayt is who we at Hajj with AE have partnered up with. So they're going to be the ones who are kind of providing a lot of the logistical services, a lot of the Mina camps, a lot of our bookings and logistics, other logistic related issues. So we as Hajj with AE are the marketing partner with Al-Bayt guests, and a marketing partner is basically, is the one who is running the actual structure of the program. So all of the programming that we run, when it comes to the daily activities, when it comes to developing the schedule, all the lectures, etc. So what this means for you is that when you actually go on Nusuk, you have to be registered on Nusuk to be able to actually pick a package. And then you'll have within Nusuk, I like to describe it as like an Amazon kind of service, right? Where you go and then you pick whichever package it is that you want to choose. and Al-Bayt is the one that we've partnered up with. So hopefully that kind of helps clarify that. I know there was a lot of questions regards to that. So Al-Bayt, we do have webinars that run every Sunday through the Al-Bayt channel. And they are, let's say, the biggest in the business that we've partnered up with. The service countries for Nusuk, as you can see here. So there's a list of, mostly Western countries. This means that folks who are passport holders from these countries are able to go on the Nusuk platform and pick a package. This also means those people who are, for example, permanent residents of these countries, or green card holders, or those who have resident permits, like the BRP in the UK, they're also able to go on their native passport and avail the Nusuk process. And so Al-Bayt will be hosting a whole bunch of packages on Nusuk. Once packages they go live, one of them is going to be ours. Obviously, Hajj with AE. We don't have the package code just yet, but we will share that with you. And basically, we will have departures from Canada, from US, and from the United Kingdom. And I'll share with you what those departure cities look like in the next slide. So the most important thing right now that we are advising everybody to do is to go and get registered on Nusuk. If you don't know anything about Nusuk or what details to fill in, we have developed very good guides in terms of how to actually fill in the registration. And so that's this top one here. And then we also have, and it requires you to upload a photo. And if you're having problems, getting the photo to be, to fit within the parameters, there's also a video guide here that takes you step by step in the process. So, this is something that that we're recommending everybody do that right now. So when you come to Nusuk, you will come, once packages start getting uploaded, you will see that there's a number of different packages that are available. And these packages will range within the package duration, within whether Medina is first or last, hotel proximity to the Haram itself, how far it is, whether it's shifting versus non-shifting, whether it's, there's an Aziziyah stay or not, whether there is Mina camp. There's a couple of different Mina camps. One is Muaysin, one is Majal al-Kabsh, different rooming configurations. And so those are the different factors that go into putting a package together. And I don't know, Sheikh, if you want to have any comments around this.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, alhamdulillah, salatu wassalam ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. It would be nice actually just to go and take a nap while Danish does this presentation, but we're going to speed things up because I do know that it's going to get late for folks in the UK. And I know that there's going to be a lot of questions. A lot of you will be thinking, why are we going into so much detail when so many of us are already verified or registered? Let me tell you, because many of you will know that I've spoken to you. I've been on the phone to you. You've been on the phone to Danish, to Arif, to Widad, to Jiva, to the entire team. They've been calling everybody. Why? Because so many of you haven't even started Nusuk, right? This doesn't need to be hearsay or rhetoric. I myself spoke to 30 or 40 people today and about 100 people yesterday who were like, yeah, I'm going to get round to it, or, X, Y, Z. And the reason that we kind of pushed all of this forward at this level is because based upon last year, the entire kind of booking process coincided with Ramadan. I want you to understand how everything works. As you know, the Islamic calendar, you're losing around 10 days every year. The Hijri calendar, obviously, with the Gregorian. And therefore, you expect everything to move back by 10 days, which of course it does. You'll have that experience with Eid. You probably never thought about Hajj like that. But for us, obviously, We think of all Islamic days like that. It's always 10 days earlier, 10 days earlier. Likewise, we would have thought that Nusuk, not being the most brightest tool in a box, would be also following the same kind of time frame where it would be 10 days earlier, 10 days earlier. Because in 2023, when Nusuk launched and we did the first Nusuk Hajj ourselves, it effectively ruined Ramadan. It was all the way through Ramadan, and then the purchasing happened at the end. We thought it'd get better for 2024, which was last year, and it didn't. It also ruined Ramadan, and it launched in Ramadan and the purchase and the like. They said many things that would happen in 2025. We didn't believe any of it, and that's a really important lesson, number one. This session is about a real talk. It's about you folks knowing exactly what you should depend upon and what you should hope for, all right? Expectations versus promises versus beliefs and the like. And the majority of you who are here in this call right now and on this group right now are here because someone's told you to be here. And they would have told you that, listen, just trust the process. Don't think about it too much. Just follow the instructions. Unless you want to do it all yourself and stress yourself out all yourself, then, then think about it as much as you want. But if you just want to let us deal with the stress and just, get it done the best way, then you just have to listen to us. And we thought, as I said, that the Nusuk kind of system would be as how we perceive it, which is a group of coders taken from another country that have been put into a building, and there are changing rules and principles, and they're desperately coding in the background. And I know that many of you will have questions about some of the errors that you're having, and we have directly been able to, with our own coders and developers, been able to identify that there's a problem in the Nusuk portal, and that we can feed this back, and this is accepted and this is rejected by the actual Nusuk team, the Hajj ministry, I should say. And so we know the capacity and the capability. We were expecting nothing special from them this year. We were thinking that it's going to be at the beginning of Ramadan as well. So if you think about 10 days, 10 days, 10 days over 3 years, we thought that the beginning of Ramadan is when this is going to launch. What did we find out the other day? That they intend to make the packages available to look at and understand in 2 weeks or 1 week, in mid-January basically, and that they will then activate the wallet. And we'd be thinking, okay, that's great. That gives us 4, 5, 6 weeks, and that's enough time also to fund the wallet nice and in a nice and controlled fashion. But then we're told that they're expected to go, and none of this can be guaranteed. This is always assumptions, always estimates or guesstimates, and you have to accept that it's going to be something in the region of beginning of February, the beginning of February. And so when it comes to this kind of claim, you've got to take it with a pinch of salt, except that we now have no reason not to believe that it will be in February. And if you have not even entered into Nusuk, the amount of people that I spoke to today who thought that, listen, I've downloaded the app and I just can't find how to enter the details. We're talking that level of basic kind of, and I have to say it's very interesting, the split between, obviously we take a lot of Americans, a lot of Canadians, the majority obviously British, but the amount of Americans that I spoke to today and last night that actually have not kind of connected in their head that Nusuk is the fundamental factor, and that it's not an app that they use for the Rawdah and Umrah last time, but it's a completely separate Hajj department, Nusuk, is crazy. And the fact that so many of us over the last 1-2 months have been trying to register and having the little kind of niggles and the problems and the photos rejected and blah, blah, blah. And for all of that to now be starting now, this is late. So if you wanted like a kick up the backside and this whole kind of reminder of how urgent things are, this is it. And you're starting to see the messaging of all different partners and all different kind of companies. This is serious. If it goes live and you don't have a Nusuk account that is registered, then you're going to be problem. Listen to the word I'm saying, submitted and registered, not verified. Because verification is a manual process in which the majority of them are manual processes in which they have the ability, because we've seen it, where one of the senior managers says, right, no more checking, just do all of them. Just verify them all. And in a day, we see 3,000 people verified. That's how ridiculous the system is. And that's why people are saying, I've been waiting for the last 2 months, nothing's happening. That's the least surprising statement ever. And another one is that I've been waiting for 3 months and I've been, whatever. And my friend, he registered yesterday and he got verified today and I'm sitting like a kebab and, nothing's happened. That's nusuk. Full of contradictions. Nothing can be relied upon. What you therefore have to do is to leave nothing to chance. It doesn't matter what they state, or it doesn't say what they promise. It doesn't matter what, like, for example, and I'll be saying this again and again and again, that there'll be claims that there'll be wheelchairs there, for example, or that you'll receive support, for example, or that you'll get this transport, for example. You're going with me, I'm going to tell you, assume there's no transport, assume there's no wheelchair, assume there's no thingy. You have to take everything upon yourself. You have to be fully educated on every matter. You need to understand every parameter. You need to appreciate how you yourself get involved and see distances, as opposed to letting someone say to you, don't do shifting or don't do non-shifting, or that it's this much walking, or that. Forget the claims. Study it yourself. Look at it yourself. Speak to people yourself. Rely upon nobody except yourself. This is going to be a very important principle that we're going to go over and over again. So anyway, I mentioned the fact that Danish needed to go into that detail, and a lot of you would be thinking, man, why is this? Is because there are so many people that have not started the process. There's a lot of information in today's session. We are going to have multiple live sessions in the next few weeks, but this one, its most important message was that everybody needs to yesterday, let alone right now, ensure that they have put their nusuk into play, that they have submitted. If you're a person who has a problem, like, for example, you have an account from last year, you can't access it, deletion, blah, blah, all these technical points that are being dealt with in the support channels, the Al-Bayt support channels, which you'll see all of us in there helping. These need to be having their tickets raised and the like. And in the Q&A session at the end, when Danish and Widad are going to manage that, you're going to put your hand up. We're going to get the microphone out to you, and then you're going to be able to ask. Let's now just talk about These are in the Hajj process. All right, let's get back to the presentation. In the Hajj process, what are the things that you need to consider? Because there are people who are actually listening right now, and it isn't just me trying to get people into the Hajj with AE program. The Hajj with AE program sells itself. Alhamdulillah, we don't need to be going on the front foot in that sense. What's much more important to me is that the right type of person is in our program. And that's not a necessarily Islamically educated person or particularly pious person or a certain type of age or a certain type of fitness. No, that type of person is someone who is willing to trust the process. And you can tell these people. I've been doing this for a very, very long time. And I know who's willing and wants to do this Islamically versus those who just want to do it commercially, versus those who just, as I call it, doing a tick box Hajj. And so hearing our presentation, meeting the team, all of them are going to be presented today. All of the facts are going to be presented today, and telling you the truth about the various kind of considerations will make you realize, you know what, these guys aren't for me. Nice presentation. Thanks a lot, guys. I'm going to go for something else. And that helps you, and it helps me, and it helps us as well. So this is what the main function, other than the urgency that we spoke about before for Nusuk, this is the main function of today. And what are the things that people consider? How long is it going to be? Everyone in their mind, not everyone, but the majority. Back in the day, it used to be, if a Hajj package is less than 40 days, then what kind of Hajj package is it? Our parents' generation, right? They would then use some weak hadith as well to indicate that there needs to be 40 days spent here, and there needs to be 40 prayers prayed here, and so on. A structure using Islamic basis, quote unquote, was created to try to justify that any kind of Hajj has got to be a short one. I remember back in the day, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, when we were doing Hajj programs, that anyone that would come in for like a 10 or 15-day program, they would be looked down so badly, right? It would be called, that's a businessman's Hajj, that's a waste man's Hajj, this kind of approach. Now it's turned the other way. Now there is no such thing as a 40-day Hajj, or hardly at all, unless you go obviously from ethnic countries, all right, from the Muslim world. All the countries that are served in the West now in the Nusuk, you'll see that you need to ask yourself what's going on. Well, it's not rocket science. Saudi Arabia wants to expand its income stream. We are a cash cow. We are the West. We are those dumb packs who are willing to pay whatever it takes and justifying ourselves in our heads that it's worth it. And so we are perfect fodder for that machine. And listen, there's nothing wrong with that. Their country, they're having their system. There are ways of doing this on the cheap. And we might even, I don't know whether we've got a section on that. No, we don't. But when it comes to the pricing, just remind me, or in the Q&A, remind me to tell you about the people who are going via the Shnahti card, via Pakistan, via Somalia, via Nigeria, via Bangladesh. These are the four main ethnic kind of routes. People who are using their nationality or citizenship of a Muslim country to basically use their identity card and to apply via their quota, who can't afford, the people in the country can't afford to be going on the equivalent type luxury programs. So this new market, this new sub-market has opened in which people can go for cheap. I have yet to meet a person that was grateful for that option. Yeah, meaning every person that I met regretted that they took that option. And that's for multiple reasons, but the main reason being that the Saudis got it right. The Saudis understood, and they did their market research, and they realized that actually the people in the West, they want to have this kind of organization, professionalism, level of service, high quality hotels and proximity and X and Y and Z and religious guides and pay for it as well, blah, blah, blah. They worked the market and they seen that the people who come, on the whole, very, very happy. Whereas the people who tried to do it on the cheap, trying to do the same thing on the cheap, not the same generation of people as your parents, not ready to be doing all that kind of slog, not willing to, even if you don't have to go to fly to that country and you can get, people have realized that they're making a mistake. So I just want you to know that there will always be different options, even outside of Nusuk, right? But that's not open to everybody, obviously, only to a small few, but you need to be aware of that. As for the rest of you in Nusuk, there's going to be a number of different programs that are going to differentiate themselves from others. The first, of course, as I said, is duration. There will be a big focus that I will want to go for a small period of time. And I get that. Everybody is going to want to do that. And that's where now you've got to ask yourself, is this really a I'll get it over and done with kind of scenario? And if you're that person that really doesn't see the Hajj as anything other than I've got to get over and done with, then that's fair enough. Then I would say to you, forget all this AE and Tarbiyah program and study and structure and great group of people and shared vision and all that nonsense. Then just get yourself a 6, 7, 8 day program. They're inevitably more expensive because when you cut the days down to that level, you're getting into a whole different process, right? And they can be very expensive, but it's a legitimate approach. The Sharia allows a legal, minimal a way to do Hajj. It would be obviously against my recommendation, but it's a permissible option that will be there. I'll take the opportunity to say something. Our program will be about 17 days this year. One of the ways that we've been able to trim what has always been our 21-day program is because we're going to now shift quite a significant portion of what we call the base camp as Azia experience onto an online portal. And so we're going to be studying that together beforehand to save the time on having to do it there. That's not to say that we don't have that experience there. You'll see soon in the channel that videos will be released and we'll be explaining this. But you do need to know that this is going to be a 17-ish day program. And by the way, expect this word ish and plus minus 1, 2. Expect this all the way through, even until the last few weeks before you go to Hajj. You might say, that's insane. We're professional people. We've got to take leave, whatever. With all respect, I'm a professional person as well. This is not my job. I also have a job. I have to get leave as well. This is unfortunately the system. Everyone in our group is a professional in their own area, having to tell their employer or their business that we've got to take time off. It's the most infuriating thing. You get done over by the craziest things. And I want you to understand that in a Hajj journey, when your scholars and your leaders and your imams and maulvis and all these kind of people that giving you your religious and your spiritual kind of succor and your religious kind of basis, when they say to you things about, listen, be focused, be patient, have trust, it's not empty words. I know that it can become a bit of a cliche, but it is very important to actually think about what they're saying. When we're talking about being patient, I'll give you a simple example. If I said to you, guys, yeah, we're expecting to go the 24th of May, come back on the 10th of June, plus minus 1 or 2 days. You're like, what? What do you mean? And it's a plane ticket. And I say to you, bro, just trust me in that we had 300 people on one flight in 1 year, X years ago, and Turkish Airlines 2 days before said, right, we're not flying out that day, it's going to be the next day. I've had another year in which the airline said, yeah, we're not going to be able to do that. We're adding more flights, but your flight has been moved to a day earlier. And now, you would understandably get angry. You'd understandably get frustrated. If I was to turn around and say to you, right, the Hajj program is now 18 days. You say, what? I planned for, or 19 days. And you say, what? I planned for, 17 days. You told me 17 days. And I said, you know that I don't control the moon, right? And you know that I don't control who sees the moon and whether their witness is accepted. And you do realize that you're going not on some jolly to Ibiza, but you're going on an Islamic date-based pilgrimage, meaning that Dhul Hijjah, which is the 10 days of Hajj, of which the 9th and the 10th are the most important for us, and then 11, 12, 13 thereafter, is entirely based upon the seeing of the moon, the presence of it, and it is something that needs to be witnessed. And depending upon what you would have thought that you'd calculated, we have been at Hajjs in which the day has expanded because they didn't announce Dhul Hijjah. They said that it's not been seen. And even though from a calculation point of view, from a flight schedule point of view, they have to base it on something, don't they? So they're going to base the dates to start on this day, for example. But if the Islamic calendar doesn't start, then what can you do? And here's the thing. All of us will say, Alhamdulillah, that's Allah's will. And then, and you'll deal with it. You'll be patient with it. So question for you. Why couldn't you respond the same way when I said to you that the airlines have now changed it? Or I say to you that the hotels have cancelled everything. Or if I say to you that, the organizers have been cut short and we're going to have to take one for the team and we're going to have to take another day or lose a day or gain a day. I want you to know that nothing in the Hajj process is guaranteed. All of it is in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and is based upon best estimate, best guess, best whatever. And never will I be saying this to you as an excuse or as a disclaimer to try to take blame off myself. You will hear straight from my mouth when I mess up in something. But the rest of the logistics and the reality of the Hajj game is something which you have very little control over. And that's why you're going to hear these approximate phrases. So I want to say that as a kickoff for duration. Ours will be 17 days. People normally will like, no way can I leave my kids for that long? No way can. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. My kids are going to miss me so much, whatever. Your kids are like the same as my kids and like every other kids. Every kid is upset, then they get used to it and they carry on. Life carries on like that. Everyone's upset for their kids. Everyone wants to speak to their kids. Everyone is thinking about what, everyone's missing their bed. But there is no difference between 12 days and 22 days. There might be in your mind 10 extra days, but if you're looking for what you're doing and how your mindset will be and what you're going to achieve and what the objective is, do not allow little menial things to become the determining factor in your experience. So you would then go and choose a 12-day program with someone that you know has not got the record for doing this or looking after you or developing you or having an Islamic program or whatever, but you chose it only because of the fact that it's 12 days, because it's lesser time. Crazy for you to do that. Likewise, a person that will look at the departure airport and think, oh man, I live in Houston. No way, man, can I get to JFK? Let me find a local group that's going from Houston. Can you imagine a once-in-a-lifetime journey where you know about how a program is going to be like this, led by a teacher that's in your local, maybe it's a teacher that you study with in New York, for example, or from wherever, it doesn't matter. And they're giving you an experience and a program or whatever. And just because you want to fly from Houston, you're going to choose, and in some local group, find anyone, as long as you got flights from my local town, or as long as I've got flights from Dublin, I don't have to fly to Manchester, or as long as I've got a flight from Glasgow, I don't need to go to London. The worst decisions that we saw were people that made their decision based upon these factors. Rather, you should be doing things based upon more logistical, bigger issues. All right. So I want you to be clear on this. Ask yourself why it is that you're going with the people that you're going to choose, whatever the packages that you will see. And those of you, you will know that I have many friends, many colleagues. I work with a lot of different providers. Even though I don't have a company or anything like that, I will always target those people that I work with because of what they're able to offer. So, for example, you know that Salam is a group of people very close to me who service all of my year's programs, my Aqsa program, my Umrah program, my trips, etc., etc., etc. But I don't use them for Hajj. And they don't find it insulting when I say that the reason I use Al Bayt guests for Hajj is because they are the market leader and miles ahead. And they are the biggest. And I need that support. I need that. Dar Islam does not have a Saudi presence, meaning it's not one of the actual authorized agents. Dar Islam is like us. It's a marketing partner. They're two removed, right? So Al Bayt and Burj and Abdul Latif Jameel and MCDC and Rawaf Mina and Sira, these are the big companies that are the ones that have the presence and the ones that are controlling, obviously, the Hajj and the like. Even though I would be partnering with Dar Islam in so many things, it wouldn't make sense for my Hajj process when I have a relationship with Al Bayt, where I have a number of demands that hardly anyone else can meet. I'm very, very insistent and picky on the way that our program is structured, and I needed the biggest logistical company that would be able to provide it for us. And this will all start to become clear when you start to see more videos and you go to the website and you start to see the experiences that people have had before, or the folks that have told you to come here, that happens because of the program being made first, and then the company that's going to be able to structure it chosen second. And Al Bayt have been those people. They've been the biggest. That's for a reason. And that's why they're going to be administering this program now. By the way, they don't stop administering ours. They're doing many others as well that have got different approaches. Some I like, some I don't like. So for example, Medina first and last. There's a no-brainer for me that it's Medina first all the time, even though it makes sense that, hey, you know, it'd be nice, let's get it over, all the big stress, hassle over and done with, and then let's go and chill in Medina. Because Medina is chill. Medina is chill. Those who have got experience, though, will know that if a person does Hajj properly, they leave it all out there on the field, like I want everybody to do. I want everybody to have the most spiritual, the most profound experience. And therefore, that's not tiptoeing around on Arafah. It means leaving it all out there on Arafah. It means killing yourself in those last 4 or 5 days. If you think that you're not going to be absolutely smashed, not full of Hajj cough, not completely infected to the eyeballs, and you think that you're going to go to Medina where there's a million people go, coughing, there's no chilling in Medina afterwards, with my love and respect to all people who do Medina second. We go to Medina when it's more quiet, when it's more chill, where it's most enjoyable, where we can start to build up the spiritual energy that we do in our program. And then we then say, right, now you go and leave it all. You've had all your chill, you've had your rest, you've got yourself together. Now I want you to go and prove it in the Hajj. And when you're ill, I don't want you to go to Medina, whatever. I want you to go to the only place that you want to go to when you're ill, which is to your bed. And you remain in your bed. If you're ill and you're knackered, then you recover there. Nothing like recovering at home. Horrible to go to a hotel and then be there for 3-4 days more in Medina or even in Mecca after the Hajj. And instead of being able to enjoy the reason that you're there, that you think that you're there, you're ill, you're too weak and the like. And honestly, I don't know of anybody that's not absolutely knackered and ill at the end of Hajj, whether they're in our program or in any program. So that's the consideration between Medina first and last. Now, I do understand that people will have their own preference, but good luck to them. This is the reason why we do Medina first, and our program is dependent upon that, as in the Umrah as well. The hotel proximity to the Haram is now no longer a kind of an issue, because pretty much all, when you look at these things on the screen here, standard, luxury, and premium, only standard is different to luxury and premium. Both of them are offering basically front row hotels. When you're in the Makkah Medina phase of your program, all of the hotels that you're going to be staying in, so our Medina hotel, which we're going to probably announce in the next couple of, maybe the next session or whatever, is directly in front of Masjid Nabawi. The best it can possibly be, in my opinion. I'm delighted, right? When it comes to Makkah, we know it's Hilton Convention. We know that for absolute certain, 100%. Close enough, luxurious enough, and frankly, if I had my own way in an ideal world, I wouldn't even have a hotel in Mecca at the front, because the bulk focus that I want for Hajj is the next part in preparation for the days of Hajj. However, it just makes the Umrah that you need to do for Hajj, and obviously all of this will explain later, when this is not the time now to speak about the fiqh and the structure of Tamattu' and the different types of Hajj. But the actual Umrah that you will be doing as part of your Hajj is just so much easier to do when you have a hotel next door. And that is the reason that people have a hotel in Mecca. The rest of what people turn it into, which is the next debate, which is shifting versus non-shifting, is a smokescreen. People get a bit confused by that. They are on this idea that, if I want to have a luxurious Hajj and I want to pay more and in return I get less walking, then I want to do the non-shifting program. So I don't have to go to this place which they call Aziziyah, which I don't have to go to an intermediary place between Mina and Mecca. That I want to be, and I pay more and I can see I'm paying more, and that's going to mean less walking. This is one of the biggest misconceptions that a person can have. Danish, I think that at this moment, it'd be good to show the map. I want you to look at this map, folks, all right? This is the reason why I said to you that it would be good to do this on a PC or whatever. By the way, this is recorded. It will be on YouTube, but the what's it called? The resolution is not going to be great, but at least then you're going to be able to have it on, cast it to screen. You can go back and do this part at least, cast it onto the screen and then see. Look at your left. Obviously, where it says the Haram, that's the masjid, okay? I want you to appreciate that your time in Mecca and your stay in Mecca, this is all about mindset. You've got to make a decision now. Are you trying to maximize the amount of time in the Haram during your Hajj experience? Is this all about, I need to get 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000? The truth is that for the Western Muslim, this is not a priority. The Western Muslim will definitely come back multiple times in their life for Umrah programs where they have unrestricted access at much cheaper times, in much quieter conditions, to be able to maximize prayers and presence in Al-Haram. Now, this sounds like anathema. It sounds really shocking when you tell someone that. And again, that's the difference between people who just want to tell you things that you want to hear versus those who are going to tell you what you need to hear. And I'm here to tell you what you need, not what you want. What you are here is to have the best Hajj experience possible. That doesn't mean I'm going to throw away an opportunity for you to get maximized rewards. Actually, not 100,000, because you will always be praying in Jama'ah. And when you're praying in congregation, that's 2.7 million. Each time that you pray in the Haram, that's 2.7 million times. A person that wants to stay there for 10 days versus a person that stays there for 2 days, I put to you that if you're doing what I'm telling you to do, and you are achieving 2.7 million, that's nearly 12, 13 million prayers a day. On 2 days, that's 26 million prayers. 26 million prayers is something that you will not be able to offer in 100 lifetimes. If you think, and I say this a lot, my brothers and sisters, that your problem when it comes to meeting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not enough prayers, then you have lost your mind. You did not understand what Islam is about, and you certainly didn't understand what the Haram and going for Hajj is about. You will not have a problem meeting Allah with a lack of quantity of actions. You are people that fast, you are people that do Laylatul Qadrs, you are people that pray in the Haram, and a person that's going to come on the Day of Judgment with the quality is going to be the one that's going to get through versus the one that's going to have the quantity. It doesn't matter if you have tens and millions of prayers, more than you would ever pray in your lifetime, 100 times what you would normally pray. What matters is the quality. What matters is the quality and the focus of the person and their development and their soch and their khushu' and their knowledge base and the way that they think about life when they're praying. And how many prayers are out of those are you able to offer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? So no, 2 days is more than enough of high quality unless you think that you need to be there for every single moment. That's insane thinking. It's the thinking of people that actually do not understand the bigger game and the bigger objective. And that's just a thought that I want you to reflect upon. And again, don't misquote and don't misunderstand me. Any opportunity to get a maximum reward is great, but this is not your focus. Now, I want you to just look at where you are in Mecca and understand as you see the cursor which is now moving across towards the small Aziziyah, that's written in Arabic, and then it's coming down the main road, and you can now see that all of this in the red is being called Aziziyah. All of this is Aziziyah, all the way up to where the Jamarat is, where it says the small Jamara. So that far across, all the way down to where it says Muzdalifah to the bottom part, and where Aisha Rajahi Grand Mosque, this general area can be called Aziziyah, and is also known as Ashisha, as well. These Makkah suburbs, they were never a thing. Never a thing. And what used to happen back in the day is that you'd stay in the haram and then you'd transfer over to the Mina camps, do your 5 days of Hajj in which you cart yourself between Arafah. So look at what you see where Mina is. And I just want you to know from a distance point of view that don't go by Google or things like that. It's a very different world during Hajj. Don't go by the idea that I'm only going on a program that's going to give me buses everywhere. My brothers and sisters, will you have the patience to sit in a bus? Yeah, are you going to listen to me, or are you going to read a document that's telling you what Hajj is like? If you are not listening to me, someone who has done 25 Hajjs consecutively in every single possible scenario, there's not a single thing that I've not seen, that I've not experienced, from people dying in front of me, from people having the most successful Hajj, from people exhausting, from people that have chosen, and found amazing little kind of pro tips and whatever, everything on the entire spectrum. You need to understand experience is what's going to have and lead to your best Hajj. So when I say to you, brother or sister, you're thinking about distance in terms of transportation. What you don't realize is that a person who walks will get there 10 times quicker than any bus will. The roads themselves, by the order of the ministry, by the order of the Ministry of Hajj and Umrah, when they structure the Hajj, do you think they structure around 3 million people that are going to be using buses and trains? Or do you think they look at the vast majority of the people? And again, this is very kind of Western-centric kind of, it's me, myself, and I. You think you're the most important person in Hajj. Bro, you are nothing. You are nothing. You are 35,000. All of the Nusuk system that's going to be servicing US, Canada, Europe, a few other countries here and there, Australasia, the Oceania region, UK, Europe, Ireland, Scotland, 35,000 people. Do you realize that there will be 3,035,000 people in Hajj? And do you think that all these people either can afford to or even want to be taking all these transportation options and methods? Hey, if we find an option, we find a little cheeky kind of bus that's going, or cheeky taxi that can take us a bit further, here and there, we take it. But you mentally and you logistically are preparing to walk. These people who are telling you that you're going to walk minimum this, walk minimum that, that a lot of people are saying, yeah, you know what it is, I saw your program and it's shifting. And I want to go with another company, I want to go to Arif, and it's shifting. And I don't want to do shifting because my mom can't walk. Bro, if your mom can't walk, she's not going to be able to walk even the Umrah itself. And you can be living right on the edge of the Haram, in Dar al-Tawheed, or in the Clock Tower, or in Jabal Umar Hotel. If your mother can't walk, do you honestly think that the shifting or the non-shifting is going to make any difference? If your parents are ill, do you think that the most important factor is going to be who the company is that takes them, or the fact that you decided not to accompany them and support them? When it comes to us making decisions on who we want and how we're going to be able to give a successful experience to people who are ill or elderly, the number one condition is that they've got to have one person with them from their family. So if it's the father who's ill, there needs to be a son or a son-in-law or X or Y, nephew, whatever it is. If it's the mother who is ill or weak or whatever, then it's got to be a female, whoever that female is, the daughter-in-law, the daughter, the sister, the whatever it is. Because the single biggest factor will not be how good the company is, or they're promising shifting or non-shifting, or X, Y, and Z. Do you realize that it's not possible to do any act of Umrah, let alone Hajj, except that on a daily basis, you're doing 10, 20,000 steps? Whatever you think, however fit you are or not, however close you are or not, just the Haram. A lot of people that have never been to the masjid, they look at that local masjid and they think, the Haram is this, mashallah, beautiful, romantic masjid that's going to be a nice upgraded version of my local mosque. The Haram, when you arrive in Mecca, it will look to you only from the outside like that romantic picture. Once you go inside, you're instantly lost for the next 2 hours. It is absolutely mahusive. It's like a combination between an aircraft hangar and the world's biggest mall, and a complete madness of all kinds of stuff going on. It doesn't look anything like a masjid, and it doesn't feel like anything like a masjid. And just to give you an idea, We are talking about the act of Hajj, in which Ismail, she ran from a mountain to a mountain, from Safa to Marwa. That was in the desert way outside of the Kaaba. Where do you think that is today? It has been encompassed into what basically is this massive building. You can call it a city called Masjid al-Haram. Why am I telling you this? Because just to go into the masjid to pray and come back is 3 kilometers walk. And that's for a person who's right on the edge of the Haram, let alone the people who live and travel in, catch buses in, catch hotel, vehicles in, blah, 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 blah. A person that does the Umrah, to do one tawaf around the Kaaba, right next to the Kaaba, is just over 3 kilometers. That's just walking around the Kaaba, where you can't take any wheelchairs, you can't do anything like that. Wheelchairs can only happen on the first floor, second floor. You know those floors? If you're on first floor, second floor on the roof, it's 7 kilometers. It's 1.05 kilometers each unit. Add 7 of those, that's 7 kilometers. A person that's doing sa'i, which is between Safa and Marwa, each one is nearly a kilometer going up and down. Just the act of Umrah is going to be that much walking. Brother and sister, do not think that the defining factor to the success or the quality or the illness of the people that are going with you is going to be determined by whether it's shifting or not shifting, whether I'm in a hotel or whether I'm in Majar al-Kabsh, which is the VIP area, which avoids, for example, walking. I'll give you an example. Can we enlarge this? Enlarge this Jamara, the Jamarat area, so that we can see the Mina camp Tunisi and the Jamarat. So just enlarge that part.
It's a presentation, so I don't think I'm going to.
Okay, that's fine. So guys, I want you to just look at Danish's arrow. So he's currently now looking at that little kind of mosque sign, and that's Al-Jamratul Ula. This is where we need to walk to, okay, every day for 3 times to do the stoning, which obviously we'll come and explain another time. Where that arrow is called Majar al-Kabsh, all right? Majar al-Kabsh is basically what used to be called the VIP tents, which is right close to the stoning of the Jamarat. Okay. A small number of the Hujjaj will get to stay here, and you pay another maybe 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 pounds, dollars, something like that, extra to be staying in this area. When I say staying, you will have a tent in Mina for 5 days. And if your tent is in this area here, then you're going to be right close to the Jamarat, and it will take about 15 minutes to get there and stone, and then about 15 minutes to come back, maybe 20 minutes to come back to your tent. The vast majority of the Hujjaj, however, are where it says Mina camp, Tunisi. So just look a bit further down, okay? Just there where that purple thingamajig is. That's where the majority of the people are, and certainly we are. This is what's called Mu'aisim. Mu'aisim is referring to the massive slaughterhouse, which is there that will do all of the Qurbani animals. This area is known as the European and North American tents. This is where all of the rest of the Muslims will be. And obviously the program is cheaper when you stay here. And that's because the distance from here to the Jamarat is more. What is that distance? It is a distance of about 45 minutes walk. 45 minutes walk there, and then 45 minutes back. And people will make a decision to not take a Mu'aisim package, which is the vast majority, and then go for a more expensive thing, which they can't afford. If they can afford, that's fine. But is that the basis that you're going to use to determine your Hajj package because you don't want to do that walk? A walk which you do not need to do if you are ill, if you are weak, if you are elderly. You do what's called deputizing. So, for example, myself, in my groups, when I'm there, they'll come up to me. They say, hey, would you mind? Here's 7 stones for me. Can you go and do my stoning? I said, bring it all. Knock yourself out. No problem. You, the team, other people will be collecting on behalf of people who don't have the energy, don't have the time, and want to just basically rest in the camp. We'll go and do the walk there, stone ourselves, stone on their behalf, and then come all the way back. There'll be others that would, no, I really want to go. All right, yallah, just grab the wheelchair, and that's going to be wheelchaired all the way there, on the wheelchair all the way back. There is always a solution for the distances. There is always a plan for the walking. Do not make your decisions based upon the things that are not as important as they're made out to be, but rather focus on the things that are. For example, how much the package is. Yani, you know that I can't afford this program. That's it then. If you can't, see, that is a real consideration. Or you know that, listen, I've listened and I can't, and there's absolutely no way I can't get more than 10 days off if I try to do this. You know, we have people who are professional sportsmen. I know a number of these people who come to me and they want to go with my program and they can't. Or they have to wait X years before the season goes out, or they're in a break time to go to Hajj in the in-between periods. How many times does that happen? There are certain things. So dates and prices are often non-negotiables. I do want to say, though, that don't just accept the status quo. Look into it, consider it, be serious about it, that, you know, be honest with yourself. Can you get more time? Can you afford this? But don't make these things like distances and planning and where you are, but rather look to why like, for example, us, where the arrow is saying Aziziyah, this is going to be the single most important part of our trip. So if you look at the star, the Aziziyah has got the red arrow and it's pointing to a star. This is going to be the location of our Aziziyah building. I actually know that because I was there in Saudi when I sent you guys the video saying, you know, acting all excited. It's because we've got our Aziziyah building, which we call base camp. This is going to be the area where we settle down and all of our activities will come out of here. And I chose this place. You have me to blame for this and its part in the program. I chose it because it's equidistant from the mini camp. It's equidistant from the Jamarat. It's equidistant from the Haram. When we're based here and on the different days for different reasons, we need to get to all of these locations. I want to be somewhere central. I don't want to be trapped in the Haram in a non-shifting program where the only accommodation I have is my 5-star hotel. What am I going to do with my 5-star hotel when I'm in Muzdalifah or when I'm in Mina most of the time? When I can go to my Aziziyah building, pick up something that I need, come back. Is it a walk? Yes. Is it knackering? Of course it is. But do I need to do it every day? No, I don't. Is it something that I can rely upon? Absolutely. Because you have worked out the routes, you've seen the program, you know what these people do. That is what I want you to. So when you're making your decision over the next couple of weeks and you're looking to choose your different program, make sure that you go with the program that's going to give you the best experience, the most organized, the ones that have come most recommended. Don't make it, I'm going with a program that's based upon my local departure airport, or I'm going with something that's going to give me the most minimum time, or I'm going with the cheapest program, or the opposite, which is what a lot of our people do, shamefully. I'm going with the most expensive because that's going to be the one that's going to be the easiest. I can tell you right now, if you think that paying the most amount of money is going to make it the easiest Hajj, you've lost your mind. It will give you the best food throughout the Hajj. I will absolutely agree with that. The best hotel that you can ever possibly stay in is something that Al-Bayt will have, and that is the Oberoi in Medina. When you eat at Oberoi, you'll forget everything else that you've eaten. It's an incredible quality level. Are you willing to change a program that's going to not have Oberoi versus the one that's going to have Oberoi? The same will be applied in Mecca. You know, in Mina now, there are buffets in which they have lobster and crab served. I'm not that guy who hates on that. Believe me, if someone offers me flipping crab and lobster, I am smashing that bad boy. But am I making that the basis for where I'm going to stay and which program I'm going to choose? It's not haram, and it's not something that's against the spirit of Hajj. This is not true. People that will say to you that you got to walk and you got to sweat. No, you don't. No, you don't. This is nonsense, and it's against the sunnah to make ignorant statements like that. And if there's ease, we take it. But are you going to make this the basis of your choice of your program? That is what you need to be reflecting over the next couple of weeks. And obviously, we'll do it in the Q&A. All right, let's get back to the previous slide, Danish. I don't know which, the previous one. So that's shifting versus non-shifting. That's Aziziyah staying in Mina camp. That was Maraisim towards the right. Majar al-Kabsh was the VIP one that we spoke about. Let's speak about rooming configuration. A lot of people are coming into Hajj with a siege mentality. And I get that. If you're seeing this as only about the Hajj, as a tick box exercise, then of course you only want to be with my own family or my own friends or my own whatever. I don't want it to be in anybody else. This is the Hajj. If you understood that Hajj is about something bigger, that it's about challenging yourself, about pushing yourself to a different level. It's about overcoming challenges and developing patience. You've got to develop patience by putting yourself in a situation where the patience is tested. You're going to be part of, especially in a program like this, where it is literally a family, where everybody is playing off one another, where everybody is working together in order to create the very best possible vibe and energy that's going to make the Hajj not just successful, but enjoyable as well. And so it's really important that you know that when I say to you, for example, guys, do not, listen, it makes me laugh when husband and wife come, and instead of thinking husband and wife are coming, I'm bringing my wife or I'm bringing my husband because I need to do Hajj and it makes it easier. It's instead, I'm bringing my husband and wife and it'd be nice to have a cheeky little kind of break whilst doing Hajj. Bro, keep them separate, man. You want a holiday, go on a holiday after the Hajj. Go and have a dunya fest somewhere and enjoy it. Don't come to the Hajj and think, yeah, I've got to have a double room with my husband, with my thingy. I want that. It's absolute. The most important thing in my decision is that we have our own time and our downtime, whatever. I love it. I love all that romantic vibe. Maybe I don't love it, but let's just assume and pretend that I did, right? Honestly, if you're trying to apply for a program and doubles are not there, I've seen people who said, forget it, I'll wait till next year when I've got doubles, right? There are people that are not willing to consider, which is insane for multiple reasons. Not just the ignorance of thinking that you are going to be excused by Allah for not going to Hajj because you wanted a double room and didn't get one. Forget that level of ignorance. The real ignorance is that it doesn't matter whether you pay 50K for your Hajj package. When you get to Mina, you are sharing with 200 other people of the same gender in your tent. It doesn't matter how much you pay. You think that you can keep paying more and get more private first class suites and Q suites and absolute separation. You've lost your mind. Again, you're following fantasy, not reality, not experience, nothing. And Arafah is going to come. Arafah is going to come where you might be sharing with 1,000 people, where big, massive kickoff tents are shared between the groups because it's not meant to be a place to stay. Well, it's not meant to be a place to stay, but when you've arrived there very early in the morning, you're absolute knackered. You haven't slept a wink the previous night, and you've got a big day in front of you, and you've got a big night in Muzdalifah as well. You're going to crash. And when you crash, you're not going to care whether there's one person next to you or 500 people next to you. And I want to say to you, you're going to a non-shifting luxury hotel, double, only me and my wife, and we're not going to be separated, whatever. And you are not allowed to be in Mina, and you're not allowed to have mixed, with your wife or with your family or with your mum or dad or whatever. It's not allowed. Everything is split by gender. And if you know that that's going to happen, then you're going to say to yourself, you know what? It's therefore not so important for this to be in Medina or Mecca. When you come with me on an Umrah and Aqsa program, I'll say, knock yourself out. Get yourself a nice luxury room, enjoy a little holiday, little break. No problem. Don't feel bad about that. But in Hajj, what the sense behind you overpaying or putting conditions upon yourself, when that is going to be the reality in 10 days time or 12 days time, where you're going to be all, we've got some people in our program that just become so tired, right? That they just basically sleep in the musalla. Just in front of absolutely everybody. Women knocked out, men knocked out, whatever, whatnot. Hajj is a whole different ballgame. The level of sensibilities that people have at the beginning are very different to the level of sensibilities that you'll have at the end. That's the beauty of Hajj. And it's also one of the strongest points of our program. Intentionally in our program, we reduce the level of comfort. We reduce it. The peak is going to be in Medina, and you're going to see me actively now telling you, tighten things up, start getting used to less, start using less water, start recognizing that now you're sweating more, start realizing the distance are increasing. Why? So that when Arafah comes, when Mina comes, when the big culture shock time comes, you've been cultured into it, nice and slow. You've been, just nicely into it, and therefore you are going to thrive. Unlike the people who have been all this time in their non-shifting, right opposite the haram, enjoying their single bedroom or their double bedroom, and then they suddenly come on the 8th and they're sharing with 500 other people, and they're like, what on earth just happened? They didn't have the experience of coming down to base camp where they're sharing with other people and they're sitting together in a communal mess. And this is all very carefully curated for this very exact reason. So rooming configuration, let me just explain how it works. There'll be 3 of you, mum, dad, and you, the son, for example, and you're going to all choose, you're going to be in a family structure. Yeah. So the family unit. So you're the lead pilgrim and you've added mum and dad, and you're going to apply for a triple. And when you buy when it comes to the time to buy, you do not have the ability to, like 3 of you, you're basically buying a bed. You are buying a bed. Like these pictures show, even though there's no such thing as a single room, but just look at a bed in a shared double room, a bed in a shared triple room, and a bed in a shared quadruple room. That is what you're purchasing. It's not like how it used to be pre-COVID, in the era of travel agents where you would buy a room. You don't buy a room, even though it's insane. And I agree with you, and everybody agrees with you. And don't try and teach us something that we have been painfully dealing with over the last couple of years, that when there's 3 people, why do I not buy a triple room when it's us 3? That's what common sense would say. But if common sense was applied in Nusuk, there'd be a bit different ball game, wouldn't it? What's actually going to happen is that you 3 are buying an actual bed in a theoretical room. Then it's down upon us, meaning the Hajj with AE team, to try our very best to basically go against what Nusuk has done and try to keep people together. So if there are a 3 group people or family that have purchased a 3 triple spaces, we will 99% of the time be able to put you in your own room in that way. That is only in Mecca and Medina, of course. That's only for the 6, 7, 8 days of the beginning of the Hajj. When the days of Hajj come, when you go to Aziziyah, or when you go to Mina, there is no choosing of rooms. There is no husband and wife together. There is no mum and dad together. All of the men go into 4s, divided into 4s, and all the women go into quads. And obviously, people who are very dependent upon another, like they're caring for them, like a daughter caring for a mother or a son caring for a father, you will find yourself in their room, in the quad, in Aziziyah. You will be next to them in Mina and Arafah, because we're not that stupid. We have that level of control, but we cannot absolutely guarantee in the Medina and Mecca stage, because of the way that Nusuk does this. It is insane. I don't need to hear it from anybody because I know it very well, but it's not something that can be guaranteed. You need to be aware. If you want to maximize the chance of you being together with your other partner, so whether that's your mum and dad in a triple room, so it's 3 of you, or a husband and a wife in a double, then both of you need to be in a family structure or a unit where that works perfectly. So for example, 2, a lead pilgrim and another person, and both of you getting a double, 99% you're going to get a double room together. If it's 3 of you in a family unit and you all get triples, all of you are going to then get together in a triple. But just imagine that there's 3 of you, mum and dad, in your family unit, and you all purchase a quad space. What does this mean? It means that you and dad will go into a quad shared room and 2 other people will join, and mum will go into a quad sharing woman room, and she will be joined by 3 other women that have also chosen that option. You might say, why do people do that? Because the quad room is the cheapest one, and then the triple is middle, and double is the most expensive one on offer. So I hope that makes sense, what I just explained. Now another example would be 4 of you. Let's say husband, wife, and mum and dad. Okay, so my mum and dad and my wife, 4 of us, and we as a family unit, we charge our wallet, and then we come to the purchase time and we see doubles and we want to buy 2 doubles. We can do that. The reason we can do that is because we've got 4, and that will be 2 doubles. And that me and my wife will go into one, mum and dad will go into the other. So in the Medina Makkah stage, 99% we will expect to, I'll be with my wife and my mum and dad will be together. Theoretically, Nusuk doesn't guarantee me being with my wife and my mum and dad being together. Nusuk actually, and I want you to understand this, the Saudi government has ruled this. They said you've bought a bed, and so therefore you are going to be either with another male like me. They're saying to me that if you've bought a double, 2 doubles for the people that are in this 4-unit, then you are going to go in a room with another guy. Your wife is going to go in a room with another girl. Your dad's going to go in a room with another guy, and your mom's going to go in a room with another person, another woman. That's actually what you've purchased. But again, because of the way that we are organized, and because you're going to follow our instructions, and because you're going to provide information and fill forms in when we say fill this form in now, we will be able to get ahead of the system and make sure 99%, never 100, 99% of getting people in the rooms that they want with the people that they want. Every year, there'll be one family or two families that are going to take one for the team. They're going to be split up here and there. That is a massive result if it's only one or two families amongst 400 or 500 people in a group. So I'm getting you ready for that. Vaccinations, don't need to worry about that now. We're going to go big on that. Obviously, they've updated the rules on that just a couple of days ago. COVID will not be obligatory at any stage, but ACWY, which is meningitis, absolutely will. Obviously, we have a lot of medical background in our group, and I will be advising all of us on that. But meningitis is an absolute must. If you are anti-vax or got some problems, you are going to be in big trouble, because the meningitis thing they're going big on. You know, in 2023, in one of our programs, not our particular group, but another one of the partners in Al-Bayt, one of the ladies, she did not get the ACWY vaccine. She blagged it, got a certificate. By the way, these certificates are not very strict. Okay, so it's very easy to blag. For the Americans, blagging means to wing it. And she did that, and she got meningitis, and they couldn't treat her over there at the German Saudi hospital, which is one of the best hospitals. They had to airlift her back. She ended up paying £90,000 sterling. That's in 2023. That's not a rumor. It's not a story. That's myself with my own eyes, seeing the person and seeing the bills and seeing what happened when they were brought back. That's an individual that didn't do travel insurance. We'll speak about that at a later stage, and didn't take the vaccination. Meningitis is a legit issue, by the way, just in case that you are thinking. eWallet. Now, the final part to speak about on eWallets is that's going to be the first, you might have seen the website being down, Nusuk down over the last couple of days. They are updating so that they're going to activate the eWallet probably within the next week. Could be next few days, could be 2 weeks, but that's the next big update that's going to occur on the Nusuk platform. The eWallet is what? It's basically what it says. It's a digital wallet which is linked to your account, and it's like an Apple app store. You can buy gift cards, you can keep crediting it, and then when it's time to buy apps, you just use your credit. Just like an Amazon gift voucher, it's the same system. You credit your account, and you do that in advance so that when the time comes, you just press purchase, and all the money is just drained from your account. Now, obviously, the problem here is that you don't know how much to put in because you don't know the exact price. We're going to be able to give you some estimates, and then when the time opens, then you're going to need to start funding. Now, those people that have been organized and been part of our channel since October or July or whenever we opened it last year, you would have seen my messaging. And I've been telling you all that part of the preparation for a successful Nusuk process is that you are one here in this Telegram channel, that you're following instructions, and that you're getting your payment methods ready. And you know that I've been singing about Wise and about Starling in the UK, especially Starling, and then Chase, especially for UK and for US. Canadians have got more restricted kind of options, but Wise is looking good. And you might have to use a credit card, which I'm not a fan of, but I see the need for that. And you would use these to fund your account, and you would do a little bit extra. You would add another 5-10%, and you won't lose that. You will get that refunded after the Hajj, and it is painful. It takes like 6 months, and you will lose about 1.5% because in the most shocking Yani move, they take a administration fee of your money doing a refund. But we have no control over that. It's taken by the Saudi government, making that clear, not taken by Al-Bayt or anybody. And that's how the e-wallet works in general. But we'll speak about that as well. You will not be using bank transfer. Listen to me carefully. Do not dare do bank transfer into your e-wallet. Do not do cash deposits, which is an option as well. Only pay by a card, via MasterCard or debit, Visa debit card, Visa debit card, MasterCard debit card, or a credit card if necessary. I know folks love Amex. At the moment, it's not a real option. All right. What's next, Danish? We've done the landscape. I'm going to now, you know what it is? I'm probably going to leave this for another one because this whole thing has gone a bit too long. And I know that you're going to want to ask a load of questions as well. Simply put, what's the Tarbiyah program? This is last year. This picture is from our group from last year. This is part of the Quba walk and the experience every day, and you're going to see a sample on the screen in a minute. This program is aimed at every person's different Islamic level and pushing them to try to engage and develop themselves further. So there's been a big, extensive program before we go. That's physical, spiritual, that's the memorization, that's XYZ. That's going to be led by myself and my team. We're going to be in a private group. We're going to be in contact multiple times a day. It's a big, big, big effort. Obviously, this is for those people who want to. Those who want to just say, listen, not interested, ain't got the time, just want to come do Hajj with you lot. And that's fine. That's fine. We're not hating at all. We're just saying that we are going to offer everything to take you to the next level. Obviously, there are big issues that need to be covered, especially with the women. And we have an expertise which is the best. Of course, we know that because we take this very seriously, because we combine the fiqh and knowledge as well as obviously the clinicians and the medical team members to be able to deal with all of the menstruation issues, all of your specific ones. Doesn't matter whether you've got PCOS, your menopause, premenopausal, perimenopausal, whether you are allergic to XYZ pills, but I want to go natural, I don't want to go natural, I want to go on the pill, I want to just take norethistron. All of this will be done in dedicated sessions, dedicated instructions, make that as easy as possible. During the Hajj itself, this, for us, the Hajj, honestly, is one small aspect of this experience. The kind of things that we'll be doing, the places that we'll be going, the exercise that we'll have over there, the lessons, the gatherings, the adhkar, the Quran that we're going to focus on. Those people who feel comfortable, want to do it in public, great. Those who don't want to, no problem. So many things that we're going to be having. And then the key is, of course, the reason why so many people have told you to come. We never cut off from our Hajj people. All of these for me are potential students. Like right now, why is it that I am putting this effort in right now? Because I want you next year, just like the 2023 group right now and 2024 group right now are now taking Protect This House, which has just been released yesterday by Al-Maghrib. Those of you who don't know, I teach the Islamic sciences part-time, and I do it mostly through the Al-Maghrib platform. And I take those classes very, very seriously. I prepare them myself and personally. And then my aim is to use the funnels of Hajj and Aqsa and X and Y and Z to bring people to what they really need, which is their deen when they come back. Because with my greatest love and respect, brothers and sisters, you're all going to be very pious people in Hajj. That doesn't fool me. And I've seen too many things that have happened during the Hajj and after the Hajj to make it very clear that the real challenge is when you come back. And when you really need the support is when you come back. And I'm afraid to say that those that are going for celebrity speakers and celebrity kind of moments or very certain type of logistical kind of aspect of a group, that's all you're going to get, your fleeting moment of whatever you wanted over there. And then when you come back, they don't want to know you, but practically they can't know you. It's as simple as that. They are the celebrities or the big figures or the whatever, whatnot. They don't have the vision or the ability. Even I'm going to be nice and say they don't even have the ability to be able to service. The great thing about this team, and the reason this team is very special, is because they will be there for every single person that comes back. And I know that you're not going to believe that until you actually go through it and realize it's true. Until you ask the person that told you to come here why the post-Hajj mentorship and continuing tarbiyah that I will continue to provide is a real thing and not a blag and not just a claim. Anyway, that's all going to happen in our personal communication groups. Who's the team? I'm going to go straight forward. We have a number of scholars and a number of imams. We have the voice of Hajj Sheikh Abdul Ghaffar. I'll be leading it in general. We've got great language coverage. So we've got Bengali, Arabic, French, Somali, obviously Urdu, Guji, what else? Pukhto, every language that's going to be needed. All right. We have Ustad Arif and Ustad Tanveer and Ustada Widad. These are Islamically qualified folks. And then you have those that are du'at and that are leaders and amirs in the da'wah, such as Nazia, such as Shazad, such as Uthman, such as Danish, who's been presenting such as Sister Jiva as well. You've got people that we rely on so much. We have amiras like Abida. When I say amiras, I mean those that have been involved with the Maghrib da'wah, those that have been involved in the community da'wah for years and years and years. Abid Sami is our superstar doctor. Anyone that's been following social media will know and would have seen all of this. By the way, folks, if you're hearing about us for the first time, one really easy way is for you to get involved in the YouTube and the Instagram side, especially the Instagram side, especially in the highlights. Go back and watch we live streamed the Hajj last year, did it in stories and stuff. The AV team, Ghassan and Danish and Arif and Shaz and myself and whatever, a lot was done on that side to be able to give you the best experience. Men, women, you're all looked after. This is a group where a lot of single women come. It's a very secure place for that. It's a speciality. I don't know if I want that reputation for being the group for the single ladies out there. I don't know if I like that, but it is. Whether we like it or not, that's the truth. It is a safe space for those folks, and that's the reason that there are so many in our group. Percentage-wise, it's a significant number, more than any other group. Right. What's next, Danish? Is it what's our program for this year? What are we going to be doing? It's going to be 17 days or 17 nights technically, plus minus 1-2 days depending upon what the eventual flights will be. Almost definitely going to be Toronto for Canada, JFK for America, and then London and Manchester. 4 massive departures where we all stay together. For me, it's very important that the group moves and travels together. And so, yes, that will involve a little bit of sacrifice for folks that are in Scotland and Ireland and those that might be, in other places. And in America, it means that, you're going to have to get a flight. Believe me when I say it's worth it, and trust the people that have recommended this to you when I say it's worth it. Don't make the mistake of going for local flights and changing what you always planned. Dates are pretty fixed. 24th June 10 is what I'm pretty confident about. And approximate dates. You might say, what do you mean approximate dates? How do you know? Well, if the day changes, the Islamic date, we could gain and lose. A 4 could turn into a 3, and a 4 could turn into a 5, depending upon Islamic date. But basically, it's going to be 4 nights in the Medina hotel, 4 in the Mecca. Nearly everyone coming from the West will lose a night in Medina because all of the flights arrive in the morning. So the hotel is paid for from the day before and the night before. But because we arrive at 6 o'clock or 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the morning, and we're only going to be in the hotel room for like 4 or 5 hours, Al-Bayt still need to pay for that night. So that's just the nature of flights. We've got no control over that. So you'll only really experience probably 3 if I'm right. But 4 nights Medina, 4 nights in Mecca, and then the rest is going to be between our Aziziyah building, and then the 5 nights that are going to be in Mina, Arafah, and Muzdalifah, and then probably a night on the return. Our program is very much structured about trying to be the very first group that leaves Saudi Arabia after the Hajj. So as soon as the 14th of Dhul Hijjah, we're done from the days of Hajj and do Tawaf al-Wada, I'm like, guys, let's get home and let's recover. So we're like the first people out. We go relatively early, smash that Hajj as the last pinnacle, the peak of what it should be, and then come back home. That's the plan for the program. Yeah, next. This is difficult for you guys to see, and it's not so important because the reason it's so important is because you probably know already that this is the way that we treat our program. Everything which is in green is an activity. Everything in green is a tour. Everything in green is group activity, action, or class, or visiting a place, or Uhud, or X, or Y, or Z. The yellow ones are movements. The whites are the big kind of ticket items, right? The big ticket items, meaning the big pillars, the big moments of the actual Hajj. The purples are basically personal ibadah time, and then the pink type, kind of whatever that color is where rest, shopping, and all the different kind of advices that we'll be giving. And I know that you can't see, but this is the most comprehensive Hajj program, maybe 2 or 3 times more than other programs. We take this incredibly seriously. This is the reason why folks choose this program, because there's so much going on. Regular adhkar sessions, regular dhikr, regular Quran recitation, individual and group, whatever people want to do. We'll be doing everything that you can imagine. It's basically like a retreat, right? And a lot of it is going to be focused in our base camp kind of time. But this is a sample from 2024. And of course, the specific one will be released soon as Nusuk is done. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess, listen, this picture is here really to make you realize that it's an incredibly difficult thing to have 400 or 500 people from all over the world that have nothing to do with each other, and to their own ages, their own khwahish, their own, their own likes and dislikes and whatever, and keep them united. But the vibe that we create, which is to base it upon the imara, Islamic leadership, authority is a big thing in our program, that will create a level of unity that will prove to you that these people are still in touch with one another in the actual Hajj group itself. That's not a claim. This is the truth. Whether it's the brothers, whether it's the sisters, this is not just fake. This is not whatever you see right here is the reason that we do the Hajj like we do it. This is we are gathered and we are restricted in a place where we build this up, and it will become the highlight of the Hajj program, and it will be something that you'll miss the most. All of this is group. This is our group entering the haram there to do our group tawaf. You might say, what's a group tawaf? So we'll be doing more than just individual tawaf and umrah. We'll be doing stuff that will be on, obviously we use a lot of technology in our program, which is not linked to Al-Bayt. It's something that we control ourselves. And so when we're in areas where we can't use speakers, then we use, other means and the like. We will be using different speakers, different AV systems to make sure that everybody has the best experience possible. But all these pictures are our group as one. That's an important point, by the way. Despite how much pressure I always get put under every year, Al-Bayt wanting me to do a package like this and a package like that and a 10-day and everything, which is how commercial companies do that, right? Offering multiple ones. We only have one program, and we'll be there from the very beginning to the end. And I don't mean that I'm there from Medina to Mecca with you from the very end. All of you know that how long it's been that I've been in contact with you. You will look at all of the other programs with their celebrity leaders, speakers, whatever. They have absolutely no contact or no idea about their people. And that's not me praising myself. That's me telling you that I couldn't possibly do the Hajj with a group of people that I'm going to invest so much with, and I don't know that they're serious from the very beginning. So many of you I've spoken to, and they're like, oh, I can't believe I'm speaking to the big man. I can't believe the big Sheikh spoke to me. That's so weak. That's so weak and so sad that you feel so privileged because I called you up. Like, who do you really think I am? And when you want to realize why the Muslim community has the problem that it does when it falls into the spiritual crisis, when spiritual abuse occurs from all of the criminals amongst the scholars and the reciters and the whatever, it's because you put them too high on a pedestal. It's because these people do not treat you like you deserve. They don't treat you like they're equals, but they treat you according to a hierarchy. And this is not me being religious and being special. It's me teaching you that you need to expect more and better from your scholars and your leaders. Why on earth wouldn't I be calling you up? Why on earth wouldn't I be knowing you before you come? Why on earth wouldn't I remember your name? Why? It's the fake structures that we created, and in this group, you'll get to see me prove that point, and the rest of my team as well. And the reason that my team are my team is because they share these values. This is the reason that we have the program that we do. Anyway, we've gone on. Are we done, Danish? What are we saying here? Prices. Yeah, you know what? I need to use my phone to work this out. People are now trying to work out what it is, this year. So let's have a look. The most expensive was always going to be Canada because their flights are so stupid, it's crazy. So let's just look at, and by the way, this is really, this is actually an interesting point, because Canada, obviously Trudeau just walked, the inflation situation is bad, and you can see that the value of your currency is bad. That matters because it's going to make your Hajj more expensive. Trump coming in right now is a massive point because his inauguration is just off the cusp of when Nusuk is going to open. Like, the Americans couldn't have hoped for a better time to have to pay for Hajj because their dollar is almost definitely going to bounce. I mean, I'm not a financial expert, but that's what I think. That when the first couple of weeks when Trump goes mental and starts doing this crazy bakwas here, there's no doubt that the dollar is going to have a little boost. And it's going to have and make the situation a little bit easier. Right now, for the UK Brits, it couldn't be worse. We could not have this grooming gang bakwas and Keith Starmer being humiliated every day. It couldn't have come at a worse time. The pound today crashed. The amount of borrowing levels was released today. Those are in finance. You saw it today. And it fell to 1.22 against the dollar, which is the lowest, I don't know, in 6 months or whatever. And it means that it then had a knock-on effect on the Saudi riyals. And therefore, our Hajj just became another 500 quid more expensive. Crazy how, the Saudi, now that it's run by Saudi government and we've got to pay them directly in Saudi riyals, people are worried about how much the price is going to increase. Actually, the bigger issue is how politically the situation is going on and how much that's going to affect it. So anyway, let's look at the Canadian one. So if I go to XE right now, so at today's rates, okay, the Canadian package, right? Let's just do this, 51,960. Yeah, that means that last year it was 19,944 Canadian dollars for the double room, which is the most expensive. Yeah, which I'm not a massive fan of. I really like to encourage people to take quads. That's how we stay as a team. That's how we like others to do it as well. Anyway, so you got 19,944. If you times that by 19,994 times by 0.5, what have I just done there? 954 times by 1.05, sorry. 20,009, yani $21,000 Canadian is what you might expect maximum, the most expensive price that is going to be. If you look at the majority, let's just choose something which is, let's just go via London quad, okay? So a London quad last year in sterling cost 43,735, okay? So that was £9,475 going from London in a quad, okay? 9,475 times, about 5%, 9,950. Yani, I want to say that your rough price for Hajj for the UK folks is going to be around 10 grand, okay? 10 grand per person, ish, for this kind of program. There'll be cheaper ones out there, no doubt, and there'll be expensive ones out there, no doubt. This is a very median price because of the fact that we're non-shifting, the fact that we're shifting, that we're 17 days, blah, blah, blah. So most of the 17, 18, 19, 16-day programs are going to be around this kind of price. And you would be thinking of adding another 5% on top to be on the safe side. Not that that's how much the program is going to cost, but how much you credit your account. So you're going to stick in, for example, from a pounds point of view, let's say 10,500 if you're going for a quad. If you're going for a double, right? Let's say that you're going for a double straight out of London, then 47, let's just do that now, 47,735 is 10,342 pounds. That was last year. So 10,342 times 1.05, 10,859. You'd put in 11.5 grand. That's what you'd do. So a person that's doing a double place, if it's him and his wife, you're going to put in 23,000 pounds. You're going to put that into your account. It will end up being about 10,000, 10,500. You'll have 1,000 or 2,000 pounds left over. 6 months later, afterwards, you come back, you'll get that refunded. Actually, some people did get their money refunded even before they went to Hajj. But you should give them 6 months, and you'll lose about £100 off of that when they take it in the admin fee. When we talk about using Starling and the like, why are we recommending these cards? We're recommending them because they don't have a currency conversion fee, and they don't take a bank fee, because you're making a payment. You're not doing a bank transfer like whatever that bank backs and what the hell is it called, man? That bank-to-bank transfer thing, which I forgot the name.
Wire transfer.
No. What's the name for it? It's got a name. International payments, Swift payments and all that kind of stuff. But the main thing is the conversion rate. The good thing about using Wise and Starling is that they give you international MasterCard rates. So you're getting the best possible rate against your Saudi Riyal. That's the reason that we are recommending the various cards that we do. All right, move on. I think
one thing I just wanted to add to what Sheikh said here, that these are prices that inclusive of the group flights that are leaving from these departure cities.
Danish. This is very important. Remember that last year there were options to get your own flight, right? Last year, it was a disaster, by the way. And I know that there are a few people like those that are expats living in Qatar and Emirates that are thinking, no, it wasn't a disaster. That's exactly what we want. Believe me, it was a disaster. Even those folks who thought that, yeah, I've saved some money, I can get a local flight, they had a disaster, because what they didn't realize is that the local flight has to be bought from Nusuk. And so far, what's your experience of Nusuk, folks? You've only been trying to upload a photo. Now trying to imagine buying a bloody plane ticket from these people. I swear to God, it will drive you crazy, because it drove us crazy last year. And anyway, I don't want to badmouth folks. I'll probably get banned or cut up into small pieces and fed to dogs. So let's just say you don't want to be playing around with that. And in the Q&A now, we're going to, I think that's a nice picture. Danish, where did you get that one from? This is Arif, Ustaz Arif, and myself. I think this is Tawaful. Oh, this is the day of Tawaf. This is the big one.
This is just outside of Jamarat.
Yeah. This is, oh no, sugar, right. Okay, so we've just arrived to do Jamarat on the 10th, yeah?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Okay. All right, good. Umbrella is going to be your most favorite thing when we go. So checklist, folks, you saw the video that came out. Imagine, right? You don't need to imagine. You just need to make dua. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who makes these things easy. There are a number of people that are struggling financially. They're planned for 2025. They're thinking it can't happen. Make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it's okay to go 2026. If you don't have the financial means, let me make it clear. You are not obligated to work extra to try to force yourself to go this year. That is not correct fiqh. Hajj becomes obligatory upon money that's there, not money that could be here. That's very important. So don't kill yourself. Make realistic dua for what you actually want. Registration and verification on Nusuk is essential. Registration, verification, that will happen by itself. If you are not already on the Telegram group, I have no idea what the hell you're doing, right? A load of you registered on a Google form, but weren't on the Telegram thing, which is crazy. We're going to be releasing a lot of stuff there now and doing all of our lives there as well. In the next 10 days or so, that eWallet, it could be in a few days, it will activate. Once activated, start sending money in, okay? And don't worry too much about, I'm only going to send £10 or whatnot. If you want to do a little tester, fine. But don't, do it 2-5. Have a chat with your bank. Say, listen, I don't want you to block it. I need to put 20 grand in. I need to put 25. I don't have the time to put 10 and 5 and 5 and 5. Have that conversation with the bank and let them guide you. The most important thing that we're going to tell you is to trust the process. Our process is a big statement to say trust the process, but we mean that. You have to just go with it. Don't question it too much. I know that sounds a bit kind of patronizing. It's not. I hold you all in a very high esteem, but trust our process and just let us eat that stress, man. I eat it twice on a Sunday at tea time. It's my favorite thing to do, which is eat stress. And it's all part of the qadr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, guys. All right, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. We leave it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yallah, Danish, we can now break the thingy down.
Just one more thing to add to this is that a lot of people they have registered, but they aren't verified, and they're worried because they're not verified. So I just want to reiterate, I wouldn't worry about that at all one bit. So their team is working on the back end. So if you've got your registration in and you are not verified yet, don't stress. That's not a problem. There's millions of people in the same boat.
All right, folks. So unpenning that, this is now Q&A time. With that, Danish, can you see people? So if you want to ask, guys, you hold your hand up, you press the button or something. That's wants to speak kind of situation, and then
So go ahead, Awais. Awais is next. Awais, go ahead. You should be able to speak. So we'll allow you to speak one by one.
Muted, okay? Because we need everybody muted. You raise your hand, then the team will unmute you and then tell you can speak now, and therefore then you unmute yourself and then you speak and then you mute yourself again. That's how it works. Sometimes the tech doesn't work. Sometimes you're trying, but most of the time it is in your hands. So when we say to you, hey, Awais, unmute yourself, it means that you now have the ability to unmute and ask a question. And when you're struggling, we're going to then just move on very quickly, okay? We're going to say, sorry, guys, just need to move on. Awais, can you? Okay, all right. I think
Adil.
Apologies. I accidentally put my hand up. Forgive me.
Okay, with that, I think you got a handle on this, so you just call the people out and leave it in your hands.
Ibrahim, did you have a question?
Remember, you got to unmute yourself, guys. Okay, moving on. Give them just 3 seconds with that, and let's move them on.
Muhamed Tahir Sidat, welcome back.
Salam alaikum, Sheikh.
Salam, how you doing, Tahir? You okay?
Alhamdulillah.
You back here?
Yes, hopefully, inshallah.
No, I said you back home, I'm saying.
Yes. Came back the 5th of January.
MashaAllah,
5th of January. Alhamdulillah,
Speak
back
to me, bro.
safely.
Speak to me.
Quick question on looking at Nusuk compared to what it was last year. So when I log in online now, it shows being verified. No packages are released yet. I've chosen the preferred category. But when I go onto the right-hand side of my profile, there's a little drop-down that says My Package. It's bringing me information from A9000 last year.
Yes.
Is that expected to move away? How do I remove that part of...
You can't, is the simple answer. And Nusuk are aware. And at some point, they're going to release an update that's going to wipe people's accounts that had a previous account, either because they didn't go or they used it and went. When and how, we don't know, but absolutely you're in the same boat with loads of other people.
Okay.
All right. So stay tuned in the Al-Bayt support channels, and that fix will come. It'll probably be late, but it will. It have to come. There's so many people in the same situation.
Right. Okay. All right. Just that.
All right, bro. Salam Safan, bro.
Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Salam.
Safwan, I know some people have a tendency to sometimes raise their hand by accident. So if that's you, please remove that. And also, after some time passes, sometimes it disappears. So if you have a question, keep raising your hand and we'll unmute you, inshallah. Safwan, if you had a question, go ahead.
Yep, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. For us lonely singletons, what accommodation would you recommend?
Quad.
Okay, khair. That answers my question. Thank you.
Absolutely the best experience ever. No such thing as a lonely singleton in Hajj, bro. That's the best person to be is that. Brother, let me tell you something. How many husbands who are with their wives are going to start to become those lonely singletons during Hajj, bro? Trust me. You're in the right place, Yani, to do Hajj. The singletons have the best Hajj. Golden rule number 1. Always.
Thank you. That's very reassuring.
Barakallahu feek.
Barakallahu feek.
Did you have a question, Abu Zubaydah?
Yes, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wow.
My question is, do we have the flexibility to purchase our flight ticket using the points or mileage?
No, but what you can do is there's 2 things that you can do. The first is that you can use that to upgrade, right, an existing ticket. And second, you have the right to burn the ticket. And what that means is that this year, because they've abandoned what happened last year, which was the custom flight land-only approach, which they've said that they're not offering this year. And if they offer it, it's going to be meaningless. Let me explain what that means. I want you to remember that the UK quota is about 3,600 people. They're probably going to increase that to 4.5, maybe 4,500 people. America, similar, 3,000, 3,500. Canada, like 1,000, 1,200 or whatever. This is for the whole country. Now, to give you an example, in the UK, pre-COVID, there was easily 25,000 people plus that were going to Hajj. So we're talking like 15, 20% like of what used to go. So you can imagine the pressure. Why am I saying that? I'm saying that when D-Day occurs, and I'm the authority on this because it happened in 23 and it happened in 24 and it's going to happen in 25. When it goes live, it crashes because the whole world and its dog is basically trying to buy the packages. Right. They promise each year that they're going to do this, they're going to do that. They can't do anything. It crashes. Bro, Amazon crashes on Black Friday or whatever. They can't deal with it. Right? What was it? Oasis concert, remember? Yani that crashed as soon as the tickets went on. they're just not possible to deal with it. So when that happens, all the people are going to exhaust the quota of that country. So when you're doing all this prep, what you're trying to do is to make sure that you have the best possible chance of being within the quota. Now, what Nusuk have said is that only group packages and flights can be offered in that first week of February when Nusuk goes live. So all of them are going to have flights. Now, if you're a person who is, let's say, living in Qatar as a whatever, but you're using your American citizenship or your UK citizenship, okay, you're now got a dilemma now. Nusuk is telling you that in a week's time, we're going to release phase 1.2 or phase 2, whatever. Phase 1 is going to be just releasing the quota with its flights. But then afterwards, we're going to allow the quota to be filled up by offering land-only options, allowing you basically to buy your own flight. Okay? Here's the thing. That quota is not going to last 10 minutes, let alone a week. In that 10, 20 minutes, that quota is going to be exhausted.
It's not going to last 10 minutes, let alone a week.
Cyber, if you can just mute yourself. There are other people that have... Yeah. So the what's called the theory that a person can wait until the custom flights are offered is great in theory. It will not work in practice. That's why, unfortunately, when you ask a question, can I buy my own ticket? Can I use points? Can I do this? Can I do that? The answer is technically yes, but by the time that you decide to do it, it will have exhausted. You'll have no quota of the country of your citizenship that your passport belongs to. You won't have that left. So what will you need to do, which is what people did in 2023 and 2024, is that you're actually going to end up buying a ticket that your passport matches, i.e. from London, paying for it. This is painful, bro, but this is what it is. And because you're living in the Emirates and you don't want to go back to, it's actually more expensive for you to go back to London to take that ticket and then come back again. You're going to buy your own separate ticket from the Emirates to Saudi and then back based upon our advice and timings. And you're going to what we call burn the London ticket. That's the maximum that a person can do in the new system. Does that make sense what I'm saying, Abu Zubaydah?
Yeah, absolutely it did. Can I ask a second question, Shalom?
Yeah.
So for the Americans flying from New York,
yes,
I live in Dallas today. So does that mean I will book my Dallas to New York from Nusuk, or it has to be separate?
Separate. And you'll do that by waiting for us, meaning Hajj with AE. Once Nusuk is done and everything's dusted, then we're going to sit down, we're going to start discussing theory. So what would that theory be? We want to be, for example, identifying the airline that's going to make it easier for you to transport your Zamzam on the way back. You get what I'm saying? Yeah?
Got it.
Because you're going to be buying an individual ticket, and that individual ticket cannot sometimes be linked, and you might need to then buy extra luggage so that the Zamzam, which is free on the international flight, can be then checked in on the domestic. Likewise, for example, we like to gather the people, so the guides like Widad and like Arif and Danish, they'll be coming to New York, and they might get there the day earlier. As you know, the flight times are, different, whatever. And so there might be a system where we arrange some kind of meetup point and that, the night before so that people can meet and, stay together in a smaller kind of subgroup. All of that we're going to help to facilitate from a logistics point of view. But in answer to your question, yes, people will be buying the individual flights, but we're going to be facilitating the logistics behind that. All right, Wiyak, Habibi. Barakallahu feek.
Saiba, do you want to ask your question? Saiba? Rubina?
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu Rubina.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh Abu Isa.
I'll come back to you in a second, Saiba. Go ahead, Rubina.
Sorry, I just had a
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh Abu Isa.
Wa alaikum salam. Just 1 second. Let Rubina ask the question, okay? Just 1 second. Rubina, go ahead.
I just wanted to ask two quick questions. One of them was about the Sterling Bank. Do we top up bit by bit, would you advise, or do we top up like in one go?
I would be speaking to the bank and saying to them, open up a chat, say here's an account, because when you get your eWallet, then you'll be given some details, and you're going to say to them that this is the IBAN that I want to pay this money into. I'm going to make the payment to, and I need to know that, are you going to give me any problems? And I want to do it.
And would you advise?
They're going to say to you, 9,000 is your limit. And as when 9,000 is your limit, whack, I'm putting 9,000 in.
And is that the bit what you're talking about, Starling Bank? You'd advise doing it via Starling Bank?
Correct. Not Sterling, it's Starling. Yeah, with
Starling.
the A.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. And just another quick question. You were talking about you'd advise husbands and wives not sharing with each other and things like that. Is that throughout the whole of Hajj, or is there like a part where you share, or how does it work?
Look, I don't want to come
I only
across
ask because I don't mind in either way. I have a disability, so I just wanted to know like how it would work a little bit more.
So let me tell you something. That's my Josh speaking. That's my extremist side speaking. I don't want to make it out that, husband and wife can't see each other, although there is a serious side to that as well, because obviously one of those aspects, there is a separation in the Hajj and marital relations and the like. But put that aside, whatever happens, you're always going to be in each other's company. Not just because, for example, if you took a double room, absolutely fine for a husband and wife to have a double room to themselves, but it's only going to last 8 days. The rest of the Hajj, you will not be in the same room. You'll be in the same building. You'll be in the same proximity. You'll be able to support each other because you'll be like 10 meters away. But in the sleeping arrangements, you will not be together. So it's not something to be taken too seriously. I would not, for example, to answer your question, be saying, listen, do not get a double room with your husband. No, I would say if there's 2 of you going and you can afford a double room, then get the double room. If there's 2 of you going and you want to save about $1,000 each, I would then say you buy 2 quad places. And then that means from the very beginning, you are sharing with 3 other girls and he's sharing with 3 other guys, and you're saving $1,000 each.
Is that beginning of Medina or beginning of Hajj?
That's what that would happen from the beginning of everything. So if there were a couple in an account, Nusuk account, you've got the option of buying 2 double places or 2 triple places or 2 quad places. If you buy 2 double places, it means you're going to be together for Makkah and Medina. If you buy 2 triple places or 2 quad places, it means you're going to be sharing with other people from Makkah and Medina and then carrying on sharing throughout the rest of the Hajj.
Oh, okay.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Cool.
Jazakallah khairan, I appreciate it.
Yeah. Saiba, go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, Sheikh Abu Isa.
Go ahead.
Do we know which airline we will be flying with?
We don't know yet. The tickets have not been bought. They're between 3 airlines, what we've been told. It's either going to be Turkish, it's either going to be Saudiya, and there is a wild card Emirates option which is coming in, possibly. When I find out, I tell my group, but that definitely has not been confirmed yet.
Sheikh Abu Isa, the reason I'm asking, I'm banned to enter Turkey, and if we are traveling through Turkey, transiting, would I be allowed to travel or not?
So that's the question only you can answer, because I don't know what the level of the ban is, and entering a country is different from transiting. That's something only you will know. But forget that. This is you're obviously from the UK, all right? So this information that you've told me is the kind of thing that you would tell me in our private group when we open it, when we go live, right? And I would be saying to you, bro, don't go from London. You're going to go from Manchester. Or don't go from Manchester, go from London. Because we will know in advance that the Manchester connection is an Emirates and Turkish flight, and that the London one's a Saudiya one. You get my point?
Yes.
And then, so we'll be telling you, go JFK, go London, go, to minimize your headaches and problems.
Ammar, please unmute yourself to ask your question. Ammar. Ammar, final call. All right, Asim, please unmute yourself to ask your question.
Assalamu alaikum. It's just a quick question on Nusuk technical, really. So I've managed to get myself registered, but I've tried to then, and it's saying in the process of validation or whatever it says in the thing, under review. I've tried to add my wife, and the picture is on there, but the passport just keeps saying not recognised, application is pending or something. And I just can't. I've tried to change the passport scan picture. I've tried to resize it a couple of times, rename it a few times. It keeps saying that it's rejected because the applicant is already has a pending application or something.
Oh, so it's not rejecting the photo that you're uploading. It's saying that the account is a problem. Something like that, yeah. It's not saying that there's an issue with the size or anything. It just says rejected because there's a pending application or something like that. Yeah, this is going to be above any partner support. This is Nusuk. Have you not done a ticket? Yeah, I put a ticket in yesterday. They came back and said, refresh your cookies or whatever it was and change language. And I changed language, which was a weird one. I did that and nothing's changed. What the hell is the only changing your browser going to do against someone who claims that you've got a different account? Honestly, custom, you just think to yourself, oh, it's stupid. Well, yeah. Unfortunately, that's going to happen again. It's going to happen again. What you need to do is to carry on launching tickets and being as calm and polite as possible and saying that I'm now launching another ticket. You need to know that in the previous ticket, this is what you said, didn't work, nothing to do with that, and this is the message, and you do take a screenshot and you do upload it as a photo, etc. You give it second time, third time, give it a few days, and then if enough other people in the support group are suffering the same issue, the partners then, what they do is that they will then say to you, right, contact me, and then we'll take your passport and your thingy and whatever, and we put it into like a form, and we present it to Nusuk on behalf of Al-Bayt, like the big boys, basically. Yeah, okay. Yeah. And then kind of make them look at individual things after, like, you know, behind the scenes. But they won't do that until there's a critical number that's reached. Okay. Would it be useful to get her to start applying herself separately, not under the family structure? I don't think it's the family structure, bro. I don't think it's the family structure, because you know one thing I'm really, really reticent that anybody does is that they delete their account when they're having a problem inside their account. Okay. Now that makes sense, right? Like, let me just delete and reset and start again. But what happens is what you're seeing right now. The system doesn't let go, and it blocks you from doing it again. You might say that it's the email that's being blocked, but our working theory, we were having this discussion. And by the way, we sit there and we discuss this stuff because there's no rhyme or reason, by the way, to all this class. Yeah. And so when we're sitting there discussing theory, we're trying to convince ourselves, is it the passport number that they recognize from some previous deleted application? Or is it the email? Or is it a combination of all? You can't tell. Which is why we are advising people that when they have a problem, do not delete your account yourself. If they are willing to delete it, like a proper shift delete, kind of behind the scenes, coding, developer delete, that's great. But us is never a proper delete. You know what I'm saying? It's in the recycle somewhere. Yeah. And then it blocks your next chance or your next attempt. And what I'm saying now, folks, the rest of you who have your own individual problems should also be listening. Because I know I've spoken to a number of people over the last couple of days, and you're describing different scenarios. All of you who have your scenarios of trying to edit a photo, trying to edit a person's, incorrectly spelled name, blah, blah, blah. Try to carry on that process of editing, even if it crashes, even if it kicks you out, even if it says no. Do not delete your account and think that you can start again. It makes the problem worse. That's what I'll say. Bear with it. Keep launching tickets. Keep giving Nusuk the time. It is incredibly irritating, but you've got to basically be patient. Okay. All right, Zakla, thank you very much. We are.
Rahima, please unmute yourself to ask your question. Rahima.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Salam, Rahima.
I've got a few questions. I hope you don't mind. First of all, the Google Forms. Can you just explain, the lead pilgrim? Because I'm assuming your family structure thing, correct me if I'm wrong, is part of the Google form stuff. So, if you're taking your family with you, I guess the family unit structure is part of how many additional people you take. I don't know if that's correct. But, if I'm the lead program, what does that mean? and am I paying for everything for like all the family members?
So let me make it clear. There's a difference between Nusuk and the Google form. The Google form is for us internally to be able to do the logistics that we do after Hajj, after Nusuk.
Okay.
So its accuracy and mistakes and, you know, blah, blah, is a minor. The most important thing is that you are in the Telegram channel.
Okay. All right. I am in the Telegram channel.
Yeah. And so that's about the form. However, when it comes, because then you went like from 0 to 100, you start talking about paying and stuff. What you're talking about now in terms of your family structure in Nusuk is a different thing. What it means is that you as the lead pilgrim and the rest of the family underneath you, and it doesn't matter whether you are the younger or the older or the male or female, it's one person, and the rest of the structure then is built around that person, is that yes, that person is the one that pays. So other people can credit the account, okay, but it's easier for one person to do it. But yes, it will all come out. So you will need, so it's 4 of you, you need to stick in 45 grand kind of thing into that IBAN account. It will be a single sum, a single digital wallet that is going to be paid for. And that's how you want it as well, because you see, every second is going to matter. Why is it that we advise people to be part of a family unit? Because common sense would suggest that they're split up, you two be together, us two be together, we're on different computers, we've got a better chance of getting a system. You know, common sense would say that, right? Because especially when there's only a few minutes to make the decision and it's only so many places. But the irony is that it's the exact opposite, which is quicker. To have maximum amount of people on one account and knowing exactly what kind of room configuration you're going to have, and you need to have it like an exact number. So if there's 8 people, for example, in a family structure, you know that you're buying 8 quad places, and therefore you're going to then hopefully be across 2 rooms, yeah?
Okay.
And you know that if you've got all the money in one account, it's just one click and bam, all 8 people have been sorted. Does that make sense, yeah?
Yeah, that makes sense. So, on a follow-up question on that. So, say, you said it's easier to have one person crediting the account. So, say you open the Starling bank account, and then you put in money in that Starling. Your family members put money in that Starling, but from that Starling card, you credit the Nusuk. Yeah, that's how it works. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Cool. And so just a question about mahrams. So single females, like how would it work? Like how is that?
Nothing. There's no requirement. There's no button. There's no selection. There's nothing. It's just.
Okay. So if me and my sister wanted to go, that's okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay. And one more thing is, say you don't have a Starling account already, and you want to obviously open a Starling bank account. So then, would you call your current bank account to say that I'm going to transfer X amount to another account, because you have to do that to the Starling card, or would you just you don't need to contact your current bank, you just make little transactions to that Starling account?
If it's me, because I'm a pack to the core, to the bone, and I'm always looking to save money, I am opening up a Starling account right now straight away. I'm going to my bank and I'm saying, I want you to transfer this money to, I want you to transfer, 20 grand, whatever, into this Starling bank account, because that's free. And then I'm using the Starling bank account to make the payment.
Okay.
Because the alternative is just to pay from your Halifax account or your existing account into your digital wallet. But it's going to cost more because there's going to be fee, there's going to be rubbish conversion. So it's just going to cost more. Whereas if I transfer it to Starling, which is free in the UK, and then Starling into the digital wallet, is cheaper. That's the only thing. Otherwise, all of these options are allowed. You can even, by the way, use multiple cards to charge your digital wallet. All the family can pay their own way. Why is it that we don't recommend that kind of stuff? Because when it comes to refund, they're going to give you a headache. They're going to say,
that's true.
That's not going to go here, that's not going to go there. It's a bakwas it is. It's just simple to keep it on one card in, one card out.
Yeah, okay. And this is the last question, and it's not really a question, but obviously I have heard, obviously I've been on the chat and I can hear so many stories about the Nusuk in general. Have all of the providers, so like for yourself, you've been doing it for a number of years, you've given feedback to Nusuk. Do they take in the feedback, or is it just like it's just changes every year?
I'm going to be fair. Then there's no doubt that they've taken on feedback. Obviously we hate it, yeah, because we're used to so much, in our normal lives just going smooth. But as I've spent now a couple of years, I made a big point of this at the end of last year, especially when the Oasis thingy, that was for me hilarious. When all of the computer systems crashed and they couldn't sell all the tickets because there was so many demand for the Oasis concert. And people have been cussing Nusuk so much, and Muslims and Saudi, and everyone then starts to get xenophobic about it and discriminatory about it. And these cops, they couldn't deal with the system either. And all of their technology and all of their bakwas, they crashed as well. So sometimes we do give Nusuk a bit of a hard time, to be honest. And in fairness, Nusuk has implemented some changes. For example, digital wallet has massively improved. The stability is better in 24 than it was in 23. So they do take feedback. Right now, for example, they could ignore one of the main problems that some of you guys are having, which is when you're trying to go back and edit your photos, which have been rejected, or when you're trying to go back and edit something on my profile, it immediately kicks you out and it says that some error or something. A load of people are having that. Nusuk have accepted that's an error, and they are trying to work out the code which is gone error, which has made that happen, and they're collecting the tickets and at a certain level. So in fairness, they try. They try.
Yes. I think that's just like a last step. Thank you.
Ammar, go ahead. Ammar? Go ahead.
So my question is that there's 5 of us going in my group. It's my father, my mother, and us 3 brothers. So obviously we've got someone for my father, but we don't have someone for my mother. So I wanted to know, obviously there's times where it's inevitable that you'll be sleeping in different tents and things. And like you said in Azizia, you're not sharing rooms between genders. However, how much contact would we have with my mother as the 4 men in the family?
Did you say 5, mum, dad, and 3 brothers, yeah?
Correct.
Yeah. So I can tell you pretty confidently, right, that almost definitely all 4 of you, if you went for the quad system, yeah, which is what I would be advising, just generally anyway, right? It means mum would be sharing with 3 other ladies, similar in age, similar in kind of situation, yeah, from our group. It's not random people, yeah. And all you 4 men will be in one room, yeah. That's the from sleeping arrangement if you went like the quad option. And in a hotel, obviously you're super close, obviously. And the irony is that you are a lot more distant from each other in the luxury Medina and Makkah hotel. When you're in base camp, you're in constant contact, like all day, every day, because we're in a building. We're in our own kind of like it's a retreat, you're meeting each other for all day, every day. It's not a massive building, it's a contained building. And when it comes to Mina, the tents are next to each other. So just come out. So you'll be constantly in contact with mum. You've got nothing to worry about in that sense.
So in terms of support for my mum, like you said, that it's better if it's a lady to have a daughter and if it's a father to have his son.
No doubt.
That's not
There's
an
no
issue.
doubt when it comes to anyone even slightly, 60 plus, that you're wanting another person of the gender to be there, especially if it comes to wheeling, because when it comes to Medina, for example, Medina is a segregated masjid. It's the only segregated masjid in the whole Hajj. So in Mecca, it's not segregated, and in Azizia, it's not, and in Mina, it's not, but there's nowhere to go. So in Medina, for example, you're going to need someone, if your mum needed to be wheeled into the masjid and she can't walk at all, for example, you definitely need to have a female to do that.
She can walk.
Yeah, so if your mum doesn't have a mobility issue, then there's absolutely no issue. You've got nothing to worry about. You have full contact with your mum. Support her yourself.
Perfect. My other question is, obviously there's all love, respect and everything for the purposes of traveling together and everything. So I'm coming with you guys because I was recommended by a close friend and he said a lot of good things. However, in terms of madhab or whatever you want to call it, aqidah or manhaj, we're quite, me and my brothers are quite, I suppose you say, staunch Salafis, Ahl Hadith, whatever you want to call it. To what extent is that an issue in terms of madhab and manhaj and things like that?
It's not an issue, and what will happen is that during the pre-study phase, what you're going to be studying is what I put out to you, and when I teach the fiqh of Hajj, you will be given the explanation of the different madhahib and their positions on each aspect where relevant, and therefore you will be, everyone in this Hajj program is one of two people. It's either a person that is very clear on their identity and the opinion that they follow. So we take a lot of Gujarati Hanafis, for example, a lot of Deobandis, for example, a lot of Salafis, for example. They're very clear on the opinion that they want to hold when it comes to the order of tartib on the day of Arafah, on the day of Nahr, for example, or the position of wida, etc., etc. And they hold that position according to their scholars. And both will be taught because all come under the umbrella of Ahl Sunnah, and that's my speciality, to teach the fiqh of Ahl Sunnah, not the Shia, not the fiqh of the Shia. Unfortunately, is not something which I can give the position of Imam Ja'far, but it's not something we can offer. So they will take that position. That's and they'll be comfortable. They either have that already, or they're going to ask me specifically, can you just give me the Maliki position? I'm Maliki, I don't want to go past anything else but Maliki. I'm a Salafi, I want to just go with Jumit al-Hadith. That's okay, there you go. Or the second, which is the majority, is that they have absolutely no idea about what they are, and they're just following what I tell them. So it's very, very straightforward. So if you know what you want, you will get what you want.
So in regards to the sort of issues where we're talking like photography, communal dua, stuff like that, where we hold a position that might not be so common, would that ever cause some sort of an issue, or is it all good?
No, it would be, I need to be sitting here, for example, because photography, videography, very big thing in our program. And you would be like, if you can try your very best to avoid us, we're going to be here all the time. And then, the team will know and we'll do their best to avoid. All right. Number one, just in this example, communal dua, nobody's going to grab your hands and make you, force you to do that. So very, very straightforward, bro. Very straightforward.
Okay, Jazakallah khair, lots of love there. Nice one.
Barakallahu feek. Barakallahu feek.
Maysara?
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. Wanted to ask.
Why couldn't you just shout out over the thing? Why are you taking our time now?
So e-visa. So last Sunday, Al-Bayt said to get the verification, we need to speak to the traveling partners. So if you have the e-visa, we just need to get them to show, like for them to see the document, and then they can give us a verification. It's just not clear what the process is going to be.
Nusuk has no idea what to do with people that used to have BRPs and now don't. They have no idea. And the UK change in policy is the worst timing possible for people going to Hajj. And you would have heard already, no doubt, that people are trying and getting away with different things. I'm going to tell you something, Maysara. I told you that I would look into this, and I want to say the following. A lot of people are uploading a picture of their driving license as a proof of residency, and they are being verified on that basis. Okay? Now, people might say, what a great idea, wonderful. I have a major moral Islamic problem with this. Why? Listen to this carefully. Everybody that's in this scenario, or you've got family members, listen carefully. Because the driving license is not a residency document, but it was good enough to fool the Nusuk system, what's going to happen afterwards is that the Ministry of Interior takes over all of the applications. So what happens here in Nusuk is that you apply to Nusuk, you get verified, it allows you to buy a package. Great. You spend 10 grand per person. Then what happens is that all of the applications then go to the Ministry of the Interior, who then use their immigration connections, take the passport number and offer visas. What will happen when the Ministry of the Interior come across a person's account who has bought a package, and when they go in and look at their residency document and they see a driving license, how are they going to issue a visa against a driving license? Now, I have no idea how that's going to work. And I put it to some partners today. I said, how on earth can we tell people that upload a driving license when there's a risk that afterwards they won't be able to get a visa off the driving license? And that's a possibility. And so I just want to say that there is no actual solution here. What are we telling people to do at the moment? What have we asked them to do at the moment is to go to the government website using your gateway and to go to the section where you do the share code thing, which is to go to the e-visa section and say that there are people that want to check my immigration status. So then they give you that share code.
Yeah.
And that share code you then give to a partner who then prints it off and whatever. You don't need to do that. Obviously, you're more than tech literate yourself. What you've got to do at this moment is to print off the PDF that you can get, which shows the validity of your e-visa. And it says that it was issued this day and that you're allowed to work until this day, or you're allowed to stay until this day, or that is indefinite stay. Print it off. Print it meaning download it, PDF, whatever it is. Screenshot it as a JPEG. Upload it as your residency document. Some of them will be rejected. If it gets rejected, you do it again. Like you do the file again, and it might get accepted. I find this a safer approach than doing the driving license. And I don't want to say that the driving license is a mistake. I'm just worried about what's going to happen. Are Nusuk aware? Yes. Are Nusuk being lobbied at the moment? Yes. Has a group of, has a paper been produced in which they're showing them that there's 50 people, there's 300 people? Yes. Will it get changed in time or not? We don't know yet.
Okay, I'll try that.
Yeah. What did you supply so far for your residency document?
I haven't supplied yet because I have the BRP, but I'm just afraid because it has the 31st of December 24 days.
You can't do the BRP. You can't do the BRP. You're going to have to do a screenshot of the actual PDF that you can get as if a person, like if an employer said, I want to check your immigration status, what they're going to do, they're going to access that thing. Okay. They have the right to. They say to you, give us your share code, give us your date of birth and your email. And then what happens is that you then get that and then it gets emailed to them directly. So what you're going to do is to act as a person that's checking your own one. Does that make sense?
Yeah. All right. Okay, I'll try that. Just
All right.
Zobia, go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Salam, Zobia.
I have two quick questions. One, will we be given advance notice as to when, I guess, the portal opens for not viewing packages, but I guess buying the packages?
Both. Yeah, you'll be given a very good, clear indication. Yes.
Okay. Perfect. And second question. So I guess in my situation, now that you mentioned things are moving a bit faster than anticipated, I have a pre-planned trip where I'll be abroad in the beginning or mid-Feb. And I was just wondering, do you know if there's any sort of services or someone that could help out in the case that, like, say my husband or I are not able to get, Wi-Fi at that moment to connect? Are there people that can help with that?
If that's possible, it will be in this group and it will be us. We did it last year very successfully for many people, where we had different members who were logging in on behalf of the other people, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I want you to know that this is not a perfect system, because you said the example of Wi-Fi.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever happens, you still need to be connected to that person via Telegram or via phone call or whatever, because you need to give the OTP code for us to use. You get what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
So
in that case, I was thinking maybe we could do email forwarding, but we would need someone to specifically, assign that you can do this for us.
Yeah, we can try our best on that. What would happen is that you would, like I said in the earlier section, there's certain things that you depend upon and then you hope for.
Mm-hmm.
So you will depend upon yourself, and one of my team members will try to also be the backup. So they would continue to do it as well. And both of you will be in contact. And whilst you're in contact with each other, the first person that gets in says, I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, bye. And then that's how it works. This group is the group for that. You'll have plenty of people that will be doing that for you and helping you, inshallah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
All right, barakallah feek.
Wahid. Going once, going twice. Okay. Sana, go ahead.
Assalamu
Excellent.
alaikum. I think this question might have already been asked. I actually just came in late. I wanted to know, what is the cheapest package for the Hajj in general?
It was through Nusuk.
Mm-hmm.
US.
Yes, US.
I don't know, but I would not be surprised if you would find a package at some point, maybe maybe 8,000, maybe, a bare bones, kind of rough, kind of, really basic kind of thing. You could probably do it for something like that, maybe.
And even with that, would we be able to do it with you, with that package?
No.
Okay.
No. We only have one program. We don't have like multiple programs or options or whatever. We only have one program. Yes, it will have 4 slightly different prices, but those prices are only because the flights are more expensive from Canada. They're the most expensive flight, and the next most expensive is the JFK flight, and the next most expensive is the Manchester flight, and London tends to be the cheaper flight. So by the way, make sure you watch the recording, make sure you watch the beginning of this. It's really important.
Okay, inshallah, jazakallah khair.
Oh, yeah, Sana.
Rukhsana Begum.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. Assalamu alaikum. Just wanted to ask a quick question. Last year, we heard that there was a few phases to the release of packages. We just wanted to know, how do all the packages get released in the first round, and how likely is it to get a package? Because we've heard that it gets sold out within minutes.
Correct. There were some phases last year, but not because they wanted it to be. It's because the system crashed. And when I say crashed, it crashed. It took like a week to fix. And that's why then it turned into phases. In this particular 2025, there's only one seriously expected moment of selling. And it will be that first half an hour, 1 hour, 20 minutes, where it will be just a madness and it will all go. And then what will be left behind will be a nuanced thing, which is, I don't want to get into to confuse things, but basically, you see, Nusuk is not just US, Canada, and the UK. It's Ecuador, it's Estonia, it's all the small kind of countries which only have like 2 people going for Hajj. So what happens in phase 2 is that those countries, their unused quota is then turned into like a kind of like a jumbo sale. And people can then try to go on those and buy their own separate flight. That's going to be a separate stage. But like I said to someone earlier on, A person trying to wait for then with a passport that has a quota already exhausted is not going to be able to use it. So to answer your question, you should, for the sake of planning, you should assume there's only one phase, and that is all going to go on that date at that time in the first half hour. And that all of our military instructions and shouting and telling you stop here, do this, do that, is all in order that you are in the most best place to be able to buy when the time comes.
Jazakallah khair. Thank you.
Going back to Wahid. Wahid, are you here? Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Wahid.
Louder, bro, I can't hear you.
Hi, Assalamu alaikum, thank you. I'm just asking, I think you answered it already, but basically the question is, a lot of people want to go with your group, so there's a limited space, right? So literally it's within the first, say, half an hour, they'll all be gone, pretty much.
Correct, but I was going to say to you that your problem this year will not be the Hajj with AE spaces, it will be the quota. So it's actually irrelevant. Meaning if you don't get into my program, it's because the quota ran out, not because the space ran out. 100%. Not even 99%. Not even 99%. That goes to the Canadians, that goes to the Americans. Last year, there was not a single person that wanted to go on the Hajj with AE program that didn't get in because there was no space on the Hajj with AE program. Which is crazy. Which is crazy if you think about it. But the reason I say that is because what stopped them was that the country quota ran out, not our space.
Okay, can I just ask, if I'm verified, does that mean I'm in the quota or not really?
No, if you're verified, it means you are able to buy the second that the quota goes live. That's what it means.
Okay.
There are other people that are not verified yet, for example, and if there was this crazy scenario, and it won't be, but imagine that there are people who are not verified and it goes live, they will not be able to buy it.
Okay, that was my question. Thank you.
All right. Barakallahu feek.
Welcome.
All right, we have X next. X.
Assalamu alaikum. This is a follow-up from the previous two questions. Is it best if once we see the packages to, I guess, understand what those packages are like and use those as backups, I guess, for your package?
Correct. So the reason that you get this 1-2 weeks, what they call viewing, which is basically enough time for you to credit your account, is for you to make those decisions. So you've seen all the facts that we spoke about today. You should have an idea now, who I want to go with, who I don't want to go with. You're going to see the offerings. And theoretically, they said that you'll be able to rank them and be able to then have quick access. You're going to see that by the time that February comes round, the instructions that we create for you in the group are going to be super specific and accurate. We're going to be saying, don't do this, don't press that, press this, save this to your cart. All these kind of tricks that we've learned over the last couple of years, where you can go into your account, and you can buy it, but you can't pay for it, and you put it into your cart ready. And so when it goes live, you're not trying to find the link. You're not trying to find it and, searching within it like Amazon, but rather you're going directly to your cart and pressing buy, and that is how you get your place, right? And all of the strategy that goes into that will explain it. And that's why we mean you don't need to worry about alternatives if you follow the instructions. However, saying that, once the programs come out and I assess them, I will release in the group. If you cannot get into this program, I think this is the closest alternative. And I will put that so that you have that code.
Okay, that's all it was. Jazakallah.
Barakallah.
Saida, please unmute yourself to ask your question. Saida. I don't see Saida here. Rahima has asked, there's somebody with a Thai symbol for a name. I don't know how to pronounce it.
I'm calling that an A.
A. It looks like an A.
It's Ambreen, Sheikh. I have two quick questions. I have this prolapse, and it's going to be difficult for me to travel like 19, 20 hours. Is it possible? I know there's no land package, but if I travel from the U.S., I would have to purchase tickets separately to divide the trip into two.
It is possible for you to do that, yes. It will, of course, increase your cost because you're going to have to buy the group package and then come separately, quote unquote. But that will be possible. It will need a little bit of nakhriya and things like that. We'd have to do some moves. But for example, you'd start a day early or 2 days early and go to the UK. Then you'd go to the Emirates. And then you'd get you'd have to play around basically, but it would be, and of course it would be at significant cost because you're buying all those extra tickets. But yes, that is possible. We did it last year. In fact, I can see Aqil, who's on the call, he did it last year. Just hold on. Aqil, unmute yourself, Aqil. Just explain to the folks what you did last year. Aqil, if you've got a microphone with you. With that, can you give him Aqil a share?
We'll let him to speak.
Aqil, go ahead.
Alaikum
salam. How you doing, bro?
Alhamdulillah, how are you, Sheikh?
I'm okay, alhamdulillah. So just explain to the folks here listening how you did yours last year.
The best experience ever.
The way that you guys did the ticket situation, because you had to burn the ticket, didn't you?
Yeah, well, we basically had a problem on the website with custom flights because for some random reason it decided not to open at all for us. That happened for certain profiles. We tried to raise the issue, did not get resolved in time. And eventually I just had to go ahead and buy the group ticket, which was from London. Wifey was at the time in India, so she came by a different flight, booked on a separate platform, not on Nusuk. She came directly to Medina, and I took the group flight from London. But that was it. We did not come back to London or anything else, so we just went our separate ways.
And you was in Germany when you went to London, correct?
Correct. I took a domestic from Germany to London.
Which you bought separately, privately, outside?
Separately, outside Expedia. And joined you guys from London.
Yep.
London to Medina, and wife came separately all alone from India to Medina, completed the Hajj, and then me and my wife, we went from Jeddah to India.
And remind me, when Baji arrived in, because I remember that she arrived in Jeddah, then she got the transport to Medina, isn't it?
Right.
When she arrived in Jeddah, they didn't say to her what ticket or where's your plane or X or Y or Z, isn't it?
No.
And that's exactly what we predicted. We said that they don't care what flight you come in on as long as because the flight, buying it allowed you to get the visa. Once you got the visa, they don't care how you came into the country, isn't it?
Well, getting the Nusuk package was the gateway to getting the visa. And once you have the valid visa, they don't care which flight you're coming in by.
Exactly.
So, we did a whole load of research, if you remember last time. We spoke to so many people.
I flipping remember, all right?
I called up the Saudi embassy here in Germany. I called up airlines. It was right when you said it was Hajj before Hajj.
It was Hajj before Hajj. People don't believe me when I make these statements up, man. Now Nusuk has made it the Hajj before Hajj. More mission before than it is actually there. And already our sister has identified it. She's already identified that a 20-hour journey is going to kill her on the way here. It's true. And when people can't fly that long. So, sister, I hope that it gives you confidence that you don't need to worry about the legal side of it, but the cost obviously is going to be significant. Aqil had to burn tickets left, right, and center. He's paying for tickets that they couldn't use. So his wife had a London ticket that she never even got to see or smell. She had to pay separately from India to go back and forth, whereas a London ticket got burnt. You would be doing the same if you can't get on such a flight. Or the alternative, it might actually work out cheaper, is that once you get the ticket, You say to them, I want to upgrade this to first class or something, whatever, or business class or whatever. And, you got to assess your traveling abilities and whether it's a time thing or it's a comfort thing. But you are able to come in on a separate flight once you've purchased the package. Does that make sense?
Yes, Jazakallah khair. And then over there, inshallah, I hope I stay stable. But if I crash, they're like getting a wheelchair is that gonna be a problem?
Getting a wheelchair is not the problem. Who's going to be your companion is the issue.
My husband.
Oh, okay. If you have no problem at all, man. No problem at all. Inshallah, you'll be fine.
Okay. Alhamdulillah. Jazakallah khair. Thank you
Barakallahu feek. Barakallahu feek.
Sheikh, just wanted to say, Amira as well says salam to you. And also to the participants listening in. If you are first-timers to Hajj, I think last year when I was joining in pretty much every webinar from Sheikh Abu Isa, I thought, okay, people make promises. It's the name of the game. But honestly, being on the journey there, every word that he said is true. He's been there with us in the restaurants, in the musalla, everywhere. He was very approachable. Wasn't like, he vanished, disappeared for a few days or something. He's gonna walk with you. Just wanted to give my testimony to that.
Jazakallah khair, bro. That's too kind, man. Appreciate it, bro. Barakallahu feek.
Yeah. Wayakum.
Take care.
Sophia Khatoon, please unmute yourself. If not Sophia, Ibrahim.
Salam.
Alaikum salam.
Sophia speak. Welcome, salam, Abdullah Sheikh. Just regarding this whole eWallet situation thing, and when you're selecting your packages, just to be clear, is it like when it comes to actually like selecting the package itself, is there any sort of payment tier beyond that, or is it just a lump sum from your wallet at that point?
Straight lump sum for all the people that you're paying for. One, boom, gone.
Right. Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah. That was it.
ठीक है.
Zishan, unmute yourself to ask your question, please.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. Very basic question. So forgive me. I signed up to the Telegram very late and made the intention for Hajj very late. But in terms of the Nusuk stuff, so I haven't even registered anything yet. Gonna inshallah do it straight after this. Would it be recommended to use an existing account from a previous Umrah, for example, and link it from there? Or would it be recommended to start from scratch? And then the second question is the guidance that was, or the links that were provided earlier at the start of this, are they going to be sent to us or are they somewhere in the chat? So I wasn't able to find them. Barakallahu feek.
Well, yeah. Number one, the Nusuk for Umrah has nothing to do with Nusuk Hajj.
Right.
Nothing. Okay? That app has nothing to do with Nusuk. Even though it's called the same thing, blah, blah, blah. And number two, all of the links that we put at the beginning of the presentation are in the channel that you've just joined, that you're listening to this here. So you're going to go up in this group. You're going to, first of all, join the chat, which we're going to open up now, by the way. And it's going to remain open. The reason we closed it is we just want people to focus. Yeah, we didn't want distractions. So there's going to be a chat there now that's going to be able to help you. So you join the chat group and you will find all of the links, the Nusuk link, the guides that Danish spoke about, everything that's in the presentation is all in this channel that you are in. You don't need to be anywhere else. Okay?
Perfect. Barakallahu feekum.
So just to clarify, the channel is t.me/Hajj with AE 2025. That's how you find it. If you type that into the URL, it will take you directly to the channel. The chat, on the other hand, is the same URL, t.me/Hajj with AE 2025 chat. t.me/Hajj with AE 2025 chat. Riz, go ahead, please.
Assalamu alaikum, brother. Hope you're okay.
just have a couple of questions to ask you. First of all, our account was verified. Our profile was submitted in November 24th last year. We haven't received any verification that the profiles have been verified. I just wanted to know what the timescale is for them to come back to confirm the profiles have been verified.
So, if I understood you correctly, because your voice is very low, but I think you said that you applied in December.
November.
And, sorry?
November.
You applied in November. You received an email that said your application has been submitted, and it said under verification or awaiting verification, and it's still not been verified, correct?
That's right, yeah. 24th of November, we submitted our profiles, and since then, we've not received any confirmation that our profiles have been verified. I've just gone online now while I was on this conference, and it shows still under, one second, let me just go back to that message. It just shows under verification. So we're a group of 4, so it shows the same message.
You did get the email back in the day in November to say that you had submitted, correct?
Sorry, brother, I can't hear you for some reason.
I said, can you hear me?
Just 1 second, sorry, I don't know why, but...
So,
okay. Yes, brother, if you can just repeat that, please.
Yeah, I said that you did receive an email in November that you had submitted your application, correct?
That's right, yes. So my
So
brother's the main leader on the account.
So that's fine. You just need to wait. The answer to your question is that there is no timeline, and you don't need to panic. The only thing you need to worry about is to make sure that you've submitted. The verification will happen just like that. You don't know when, don't know how, but it will happen. And I know that is very stressful. I get that. I know that you're thinking why other people are all verified and I'm not. You're just going to have to trust me. Just going to have to trust me.
Right, okay. Because I did receive a call yesterday and I was under the impression, because my brother's the main leader on the account, and I was under the assumption that we had all been verified.
A lot of people have been verified, but 80% of the people haven't. 80%.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Just one other question. Hopefully, inshallah, if I am given this opportunity to complete Hajj, is the Qurbani included in this?
The Qurbani is not included, and we also don't want it included. So it is not included, and you have the option to purchase it. And I will be, in case I forget and I go completely blank here like an idiot, but I'm telling you all now, when you get onto Nusuk, you will not purchase the Qurbani. It will slow down the process and it will make you possibly miss checking out. Number one. Number two, it is also way overpriced and we can source it cheaper. Number three, we like to do the Qurbani ourselves so that we can maintain the position of those scholars that will not want the next stage of Hajj done until the Qurbani has been confirmed. If you do it as part of the Saudi government one, you have no idea what's going on, when it happens, whatever. Whereas if we use the people that we used before in the previous years, we get told, right, yours are done, move on to the next stage. So I'm glad you asked that question.
Thank you. Just one last question I have. Let's say our accounts are verified. When do we find out? So once we've used the eWallet, uploaded our funds, when do we find out if we're going or not?
You find out if you got your place the day it gets released. So when we say, right, guys, get ready, it's going live on February the 5th at 8 p.m., you're going to be there. You're going to follow our instructions. You're going to try to buy. Hopefully it doesn't crash. You'll check out, and then you'll receive an email saying you got your place. That's it. You'll know there and then.
All right. Okay. Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Saida, go ahead. Saida.
Yes, assalamu alaikum.
Salam.
Thank you so much for your time. I just had a quick question. For Canadian citizens, are we able to join the group from London, or we must travel from Toronto?
You can travel from any country, but again, like I said to the previous sister, it means that you will end up burning a ticket.
Did that make sense when I was explaining that?
Makes sense, but the intention would be that we will join the group and travel from London, but we'll make our own way to London.
Correct. Oh,
yeah.
You mean?
Yeah, so it's a bit different from the example you gave earlier.
I'm just not sure if it will only show the Canadian flights to her in the system. Do you have British?
No,
Yeah.
we're just Canadian citizens.
Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah, go on, Chief. Wa alaikum salam.
She would only be able to buy a flight from Canada anyway. Yeah, so she'd be in the same position that you'd be buying a separate flight for yourself from London to Medina and back from Jeddah to London or back to Canada if you're going to do that.
Right, I see. So the only package we would have access to would be the ones from Toronto.
From your own country, so wherever you are, so
Okay.
US, Canada, or UK, you'd only be able to buy packages from that country with flights from that country. If you wanted to come from somewhere different, then you'd have to buy a separate flight. Also, keep in mind that if you don't use your first flight, so if you decided to come from London, you wouldn't be able to use the return flight that you purchased through Nusuk either. So you'd be buying a separate flight to go back home to Canada if that was the case as well.
Okay, I understand. I that was the confirmation I wanted to make. If we could purchase the London package as opposed to the package that leaves from Toronto. Well,
You'd only be able
my
to buy,
understanding
so for
is
everybody,
that we can't do that.
we can only buy packages from our own countries.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so
You'll
much.
actually see that it's kind of restricted. You won't even be able to see on your portal when you're in your Nusuk account. You won't even be able to see the London flight, if that makes sense.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
It's
it
kind of
does.
restricted like that. All right. Barakallahu feek.
Jazakumullah khairan. Thank you.
Farah, please unmute yourself. Farah, Majid or Majid, Farah. Last call, Farah. If not Farah, then Sabina, please unmute yourself. Sabina, please unmute yourself to ask your question. Okay, let's move on to Umar Khan. Umar Khan, please unmute yourself to ask your question. Umar. Let's try Isa. Go ahead, Isa. I see. Yeah, I see you've unmuted yourself, but we can't hear you. So,
Assalamu alaikum.
Go
ahead. So I just want to ask, we have applied from Ireland. So would we be able to see the flights from London then if we get...
Yes.
Yeah.
The island is treated like the UK, so you'll see the Manchester and London flight.
Okay. But I'm presuming that we'll have to get a separate flight from Dublin to Manchester or London, whatever. Yeah.
Or ferry or whatever. You don't have to fly, but yeah, correct.
Yeah. Okay. And the second question is that how early should we have the money in the wallet? Like, what's the time difference? Would you know that once the eWallet...
As soon as it opens, you're starting, because you just never know where money gets held up and, it gets stuck with the intermediary bank, and you're not transferring it within the UK, right? You're going via intermediary bank and then to the Saudi bank. You know what I'm saying? So you start straight away. You don't mess about. You don't faff around. You just start doing whatever you can.
So the e-wallet opens first and then the packages are released?
Correct. The e-wallet will open first, then the packages will be open to see and not purchase, and then the big date comes where you're able to buy those packages that you now have looked at, understood, got the codes. We would be giving you the short links, quick links, meaning that we'll in our channel we'll have the links like pinned, and so that that when I'm ready, click, bam, straight opens up the right kind of thing. Yeah, like that.
Okay, and the last question is, God forbid, if for some reason we have the money in the e-wallet and we are not able to purchase the package and it ran out, so what happens then? Can we hold on to that e-wallet for next year, or it gets refunded, or what?
Yes, you can, but I don't think I don't think that you would, but you can. What basically you will do is to apply for the refund, and the money comes all the way back to where you paid from.
Okay.
Every person that happened to received their money back, by the way. I know that.
Okay, Jazakallah khair for that.
They do take a 1.5 or something % charge, and they call it VAT as well, which is the most hilarious thing ever. But the Saudi government will take a charge.
Okay, perfect. That's great. Jazakallah khair. Thank you so much.
Let's try for Farah and Isa. Isa, it might be that you have a Bluetooth something connected that's not allowing us to hear you, so just check that. Umar, last call. If not Umar,
Excellent. We can hear you, Umar.
Jazakallah khair. And Jazakallah khair for the reminder this afternoon as well, Sheikh. We appreciate it. A couple of questions. One, Nusuk I wasn't aware of, so am I still early in days in terms of registering, getting verified and all that sort of stuff?
Not early, but you're not in Last Chance Saloon, but you're not early, no.
Okay, that's fine. And then people with hearing disabilities or difficulties, I know you mentioned your group size is about 300 to 400. Loudspeakers and those sort of things, I mean, it's very difficult to hear using those because there's a lot of echo and that sort of stuff. So what sort of arrangements do we have for people with hearing disabilities?
We don't have anything specific. It's got to be basically the expertise of the one who's got the disability to let us know what we can do easily, right? Okay. So, for example, I just led an Umrah program just now, and one of the sisters, she has quite a significant hearing disability, and she asked me to use Telegram in everything that we did, which is a pain, but it is what it is, and I did, and she was able to connect that to her hearing aid.
Okay.
Sorry?
Yeah, that would kind of work. I mean, if it's something that's connected to the ears, and that works perfectly fine, even at a distance. But I'll probably need, obviously, internet access wherever we're going.
What I'm saying is that this is a reality where, obviously, a person that prefers to be close to lip read / whatever, then we're going to be making sure that person's always sitting in front of me, for example. Yeah.
Brilliant. Yep.
And away from speakers, because we limit the amount of speakers because of interference. And whenever possible that we can do it on Telegram, then as far as I know, most modern hearing aids can connect to Telegram broadcast. And as long as I'm reminded, right, to turn it on, I have no problem doing that. And then, you can listen to it on hearing aids and the like. But this is not a specialty area that we know. We go off your thing. Like Samira, who was with me, I've known her for many years, so I knew her situation. She's very comfortable. I said to her, listen, bro, I don't know anything. You just tell me what you want me to do. She goes, do this, do that, do this, do that. And that's exactly what I did, and she had a great time.
Amazing, guys. Jazakallah khair, Sheikh.
Wayak, Habib.
All right, I'm going to try some of these single letter names like N. Please unmute yourself to ask your question.
I love the way that you said that, like, as this is some major achievement. I'm going to say N. I'm gonna try the single letter names like you're climbing a mountain. It's just bloody saying N, bro.
N, please unmute yourself. Okay, if not N, R, M.
Jazakallah khair.
Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum. The question I had was, how much notice is given for the day that the packages are available to be purchased? Is it more than a day?
More than a day. I want to say, Widad, how long was it? In 24?
Sorry, what was the question?
How long notice did they give you before they go live?
Oh gosh.
And they gave us, I think, 24 hours.
Yeah, it was probably the day
before. No. Did you say 24 hours, Chief?
Yes.
No, shut up. Yeah, they posted it.
I do remember you saying we're expecting it to happen sometime next week, but in terms of like specifics, when we were more confident.
And then it didn't even go live on that time. It went like a few hours later.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to an approximate, you're going to have 4 or 5 days, 3 days, a week. When it comes to the exact time, like maybe 24 hours, but you know that it's that day. And do they stick to that time? Okay. No, they don't. You're going to have to roll with it in our channel. Our channel is going to be the absolute buzz of activity.
Okay. That makes sense. Jazakallah khair.
Sahla.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. I just wanted to ask if we have 3 people on our Nusuk and we wanted to book a 2-room and a quad room, would that work out for a couple to have a room and then another person to have a single room, or a room with another 3 sisters perhaps?
No, it won't work. What will happen if you have 3 people in the same account? You can't book 2 types of room when it comes to the moment that Nusuk goes live. You can't do that. And the only way that you can do what you are planning is to de-link the third person. That means that the 2 of you are going to be in one account and the third person in their own account, and both of you are going to have to try to buy. That person will buy their triple room, quad room, double room, whatever they're asking for to share with somebody else. And used to would buy the 2 doubles. And that is how it works. Obviously, you have a risk that one of the 2 kind of accounts doesn't make it.
Okay, Jazakallah khair.
That all makes sense. I know that was a bit complicated.
Yeah,
but
no, it makes sense. Jazakallah, thank you.
That's exactly why the way it happened last year. We told people to do that. Alhamdulillah, they didn't get caught out. But if you need that kind of hookup, that kind of situation, then that's the only way it can happen. Chief, I'm right, yeah?
Chief, yeah, I think we want to clarify that though, that if everybody in the same account can only be in the same type of room. Yeah, so if you're 4 people in one account, then and you click on quad, everybody will be in a quad. 4 is probably not the best example, but if there's 5 people, for example, you'd have one, everybody would be in a quad room. So that would mean that 4 people go into one room and the 5th person would then go and share with 3 other people in another quad room. Yeah, so everybody that's on one profile, one account on Nusuk would all be given the same, or would all be buying the same package. So it'd all be a quad, all be a triple, all be a double. Just so that's clear, inshallah.
Makes sense, Sahla?
Jazakallah khair.
Barakallahu feek. Isa, give it another shot, son.
Assalamualaikum, can you hear me now?
There we go.
Okay, I'm going to have to mute. I think you're on speakers. I have to mute myself after I've finished my questions so you don't get any echoes. But the 2 questions I had would be, when it comes to adding money to the eWallet, are we clicking top up where it says wallet, entering card details or something, or are we doing it via the banking app on our phones? That's question number 1. And question number 2 is, when it comes to the actual package itself, I'm from Leeds, so I'll be flying from Manchester ideally, if not London, that's fine. But I click Manchester. Will it actually mention the name of the airline on there? Then in the actual checkout section, will there be a box, for example, like on other websites, that's going to say, do you want Qurbani? Tick yes or no. Obviously, I'll tick no, and you just click checkout, and that's it, done.
So, second question first. That yes, there are multiple boxes and multiple pages, and that's where the strategy comes in. So the people who are successful are those that listen to our strategy. So there is no ticking no, there is ticking yes. And so the default is no. So the system is actually set up to help you get the place, and it's people's either ignorance or not knowing that slows them down. So if you basically ignore having to tick anything, so there's a box there that says I want wheelchair assistance, I'll be telling people don't even look at that. It's not even true, and it's going to slow you down. Then there's going to be a Qurbani box. No, don't touch it, just leave it. Then there's going to be something else, I think, for something else as well. Just going to go next. You're not going to go to these boxes. Very similar to when you buy a ticket online and it gives you all these options. The default is no anyway, and you want it to be default no, so that you save time. So that explains that point. When it comes to the flight, you do not get to see anything from the flight when you're buying, not because it's not there, but because you've already seen all that information in the viewing stage. So, for example, Jan 15, Jan 20, when it goes uploaded, you're going to be able to browse and look at all of the packages. You're going to see each of the individual hotels, addresses. You're going to see the flights and the tickets. They're going to show you flight details and times and everything. And you can, waste as much time as you want and, blah, blah, blah. Because when it comes to buy, you're going to close your eyes and just going to go buy. That's it. You're not going to look at anything because you've already done all of that. So that's a really important point, that you can make all of your decisions. Now, I need to say something which is so important. You will look at the end of January and you'll look at this flight. You've chosen, for example, Al Hidayah package, Birmingham flight, 9 o'clock leaving, or the AE package, Manchester, 3 o'clock leaving on 24th of May. That is actually what is in the system, and you're going to purchase it. And later on, you will actually find out from us, not from Nusuk, that the flight never was 3 p.m. and that the flight wasn't even on the 24th. We found that this happened in 2023 and in 2024, in which an incorrect flight was uploaded. Now, that is a nightmare situation for people in other groups where they don't have a strong kind of, command structure like we do. We are very militant in our group. You've seen that we call people up and say, you better be in the webinar, you better be in the Telegram channel. If you are wanting to be, with us, you've got to follow instructions. We take no prisoners and we're not apologizing for it. Why does this help us? Because it helps you guys. Because as soon as you bought that, then we, or even before, if we know, we tell you before, by the way, guys, it says this, but it's not that. And I'm telling you it's not that because I'm looking at the actual ticket myself. Al-Bayt have sent me the ticket. Whatever Nusuk is telling you, I'm telling you it's not that, but just have to buy it because that's the only one that they're offering. But their algorithm is showing a different date and a different time, and all this kind of algorithm rubbish comes in. And then we will tell you that, listen, this is what the actual flight is. Don't buy your internal domestic flight based upon that. Do it based upon this. And this will become very important for the Americans, of course. It's not so important for the UK folks, but for the Americans, massive importance because obviously they've got 5-hour flights, 6-hour flights, different days and stuff. So I just want you to know that be ready for all type of nonsense when it comes to Nusuk. But we will have the strategy and you just got to trust the process. Number one. Your first question was about, Chief, he said, what was it?
About the wallet. So are we doing it through Nusuk, the actual Hajj?
Oh, yeah. Chief, I was thinking about this earlier on, Chief. Yeah, because if you want to pay it by card, you don't want to do it in the banking app, isn't it, Chief?
Yeah, of course. You're going to do it on the website, and you're going to do it on the eWallet through Nusuk itself. Yeah. That's what we want to avoid. What you're talking about is then a transfer. We don't want to do a transfer. We want to pay with so we want to make a card payment.
Exactly. You want to make a card payment, which can only happen on the actual website itself. Now, if I remember correctly, Chief, could you not save payment details?
I'm not sure.
No, but how did we create the strategy to make sure that it was not a lot of time wasted in purchasing? Aqil, I think you've unmuted yourself.
Yeah, just wanted to come in. I don't think there was a way to save payment details, so which card details or whatever. I'll just go step by step. So first thing, you pay on the Nusuk platform as if you're paying on Amazon. It's the same thing. You just give in your card details or whatever, and then you say this is the amount, and then you do it. Depending on your banking thing, you might have like an authentication verification thing that you might have to do on your app, but that comes like a pop-up notification anyway. That's the first part. You could also use multiple cards. So I did that. And when the refund thing happened, they did it on different platforms. So because I used 4 different cards, somehow they put money into 4 different cards. That's the refund part. And yeah, I mean, I did it in multiple steps as well. I think 7, 8 steps.
You've just explained, and I just realized how stupid my answer was. Thank you for saying that. Isa, I take it all back. I've got 2023 in my head. There is no payment in the checkout process. I can't believe I actually said that. You are using the card payment that Aqil just explained, and you're doing this like a week before, so it's not a problem. Actually, when it comes to the final moment when it goes live, there is no payment. Your digital wallet has already got the money. So you're just checking out and it will take the money out of your digital wallet. So yes, to answer your question, you are definitely paying on Nusuk as a card payment by clicking the digital wallet, and you are absolutely not transferring from your bank or paying from your bank or entering details into your banking app. You're absolutely, definitely not doing that. Isa, does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I've already got Starling. I messaged him today already. I've got Revolut, I've got Monzo. I've got all the ones set up. But
exactly
he's just showing off now.
That's exactly what we have. Those are the 2, 3 to have ready. Those are the ones that you're going to go through. Ideally, you do one. If there's some problem, then you add another one. It's only really relevant in the refund stage because then it starts splitting the refund between them. It's a minor. But yeah, you're good. Nice one, Aqil.
Yeah, I mean, the reason I did it through multiple avenues is because of the limits that I had on each of those.
And I think Starling was 10,000 limit?
I don't remember. I did it on Revolut and then a couple of credit cards that I got here.
It's 10,000 limit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's everybody. That's your big thing, right? That each card has a limit, and Chase had a really good limit, I remember, and the others had some really rubbish ones. And Starling was like a good one. It was like 10K. All right, let's move on.
Farah, go ahead. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Farah.
Sorry.
Farah B, please.
Let's do Farah B, and then we'll do Farah Majid after. Go, Farah B.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum. What I wanted to ask you, brother, a couple of questions. I'm a single woman, over 55. Sharia-wise, there's no issue, is it, me traveling to Hajj with the group?
No.
Okay. And the second question was, is there, if you need treatment by chance while you're doing Hajj, medical treatment, do we need to take out health insurance or
I will be recommending travel insurance, yes, number one, and that will come later. However, emergency treatment is covered for free in Saudi, but certain conditions and certain kind of the obvious health tourism that occurs, they're very careful against.
Okay, and the third question was, I had a heart attack in April, but I'm a lot better. I've been doing cardiac rehab, alhamdulillah. It's just the pace. I just have to be slow and steady. Now, I just wanted to ask, when we walk with your group, will that be sort of catered for? I can walk, I don't need a wheelchair, but it's just about slow, not a fast pace, rushing or...
Yeah, I mean, look, you're not going to be alone in that. It's not great, obviously, but we have a system and we move at the pace of our slowest. And one thing you're going to realize is that however much we keep the group together, it naturally starts to have a distant beginning and a distant end. But yes, you will always have the group with you. Yeah, and one of our team would absolutely be at the back, and then 10 in the middle, and then one at the front, like you'd expect in an organized manner. And that is something which is a hallmark of our movement, yes.
Okay. And then the last question I want to just ask, is there any advantage of having a double room? Because I'm on my own, whether sharing with one or sharing with three, is there any advantage from your experience for single ladies or?
From my experience, honestly, I believe that the more in the room, the better the experience. And I know that doesn't make sense. And I know that women don't like that, especially women, more so than men. Men find it easier to go into the bigger rooms with more people. And it is what it is. We found that historically. I've seen that anecdotally as well. But personally, I think that the single males and single females have the very best Hajj experience. Absolutely has been the case all the time. And that's not to say that you being with a single woman in a double room is going to be lesser than whatever. But if you just, common sense here will tell you that when you are a single person in a room with a wider number of people, you've got a greater chance of finding someone that you really click with as opposed to the general clicking. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay. Jazakallah, thank you.
And like I said at the beginning, I'm a pack. It's all about saving money, bro. So I'm always looking for the cheapest option. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Jazakallah, thank you.
Yeah.
Please unmute yourself, MH.
What are you hitting on my Farah Majid for? Farah, unmute
Oh,
yourself.
I'm sorry, Farah. Yeah, please go, Farah.
Welcome. I'm just confused about Starling. So I tried to add in the IBAN number for my wallet that was active from last year, and it only gives you a list of 34 countries that they allow you to make transfers to. So I contacted them. Sorry, you're going to speak?
I was going to say, number one, you are not doing a transfer.
Right.
You are using your card like as if you're going to a shop and you're buying something there and then. You are not doing a transfer. So when it goes live, the eWallet goes live, you're going to click on the eWallet and it's going to allow you to pay into your account using your Starling card. Don't worry about the countries thing. Don't waste your time.
Okay, so that answers my question. Jessica Lakar, Assalamualaikum.
Barakallahu feek.
Okay, MH, please unmute yourself now.
Assalamu alaikum. Just two quick questions, if you don't mind. Just regarding proof of address for British red passports. When I was registering, I only had to do my passport and a photo ID of myself. Will I need to do any proof of address, or is that comes later?
So. I can't remember that. I don't think so. Chief's gone. I can't remember. With that, do you remember that?
Sorry, I was looking at names. I didn't hear the question.
You got to show a proof of address.
No need to, inshallah. No need to, inshallah. It's not a big
what MH? I can't call you bloody MH. What's your first name, bro?
Mufazzal.
Mufassar?
Mufazzal.
Mufazzal, you haven't watched the guide, have you, in the channel?
I've watched it. But when registering, he didn't have that. But when registering, it has 3 steps. It shows the passport, it shows the ID, and then the third step is proof of residency. But I didn't. It was like a guide, and then when you went through it, it didn't have any proof of address for me. So I'm thinking, does that come later, or is that for certain situations?
So, first of all, Arif's guide that's in our channel, the video, is the complete form, because I remember doing it with him. And number one, so in that video, whatever is there is whatever is on the form. And I do not remember for UK citizens that you have any proof of residency that you need to upload.
Okay, so in terms of if you've done those two, the passport and the photo ID, that's it. That's all done. You don't. There's nothing else there going to be.
You can't move on without it. The asterisks.
Yeah.
The obligatory. Yes. It's only those things that you have to fill, and if you miss one of those out, it won't let you continue anyway.
Okay. And just one more question was regarding the UK flights. I know it's a bit early, but do you have any information regarding would it be a direct flight from all UK locations?
No. Well, actually, maybe it could be. I just don't think that we'll get 2 Saudi flights from the UK. The US probably will be, but I think that the UK Manchester option we have had before. London and Manchester being the Saudia flight. I don't like that flight myself. I'm not a massive fan of Saudia as an airline, but it is the direct version. Normally it will be a Saudia and it will be like a Turkish or an Emirates.
Is it London usually the direct?
No, yet. And when I find out, I will always tell my group. And I do get to find out before everybody else.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anne, please unmute yourself. Anne. If not Anne, then let's move on to Noura.
Assalamu alaikum. Am I correct in believing that if you buy a double room, does it mean that you purchase the bed, but doesn't necessarily mean that I'll have a room with my husband?
Correct. If you are 2 people or more in an account and you buy doubles, you are actually actively only buying a single bed in a 2 occupancy room. However, if you are two people like a husband and wife, and you both buy a double room, almost 99.9%, we will guarantee that you and your husband will be together. It's the easiest one for us to do.
Great. So that will be at your discretion.
It's not at our discretion. We made that very clear. We have wished that Nusuk had it in. It's Nusuk which causes us the problem, right? And it's difficult to explain now, but basically, Nusuk doesn't look to gender and it doesn't look to family. It just has a math algorithm, and it just sells all of that. And then what happens is that then we, as a team, we sit there with this massive amount of data, and we have to try to make sure that nothing haram occurs.
Right.
And whilst we're doing that, making sure that there's no foreign men with foreign women, because that's all Nusuk does. Nusuk will not say to us, we've given these two the double room. They'll basically put all of the women into double rooms and all of the men into double rooms. And then we've got to try and make it match. Now you can imagine the first 5, 10, 20, 30 is going to be like a piece of cake. And then what happens is that you get to the end and you find there's two women and there's one man left. You get what I'm saying?
Right. Okay.
So it's nothing to do with us. This is Nusuk's complete failure. But it is what it is. But from our practice, from our experience, we found that the people that are able to almost guarantee the type of room that they want is the people who all buy the same type of room in a family structure which is of the same size. Meaning, if there are two people, like if there are a husband and wife that buy two doubles, they're going to get into their double. And if there is a mum, a son, and a dad in a triple, they're going to get into the triple. And if there's a mum and a dad and a son and a daughter in a quad, then they're going to get into their quad. Not guaranteed, but 99% kind of.
Okay, I understand.
Where is the problem? When a 3 by doubles and when a 4 by triples, and that's when it starts going crazy.
Right. Okay. Yeah. No, I understand. Thank you for the clarification. And also, if we're planning to go to do Umrah in March. So when it comes to the Rawdah, when we do the Hajj with you guys, will we still be able to visit the Rawdah?
Theoretically, the answer is yes, because of the new announcement last week. Theoretically. Do I trust that announcement? I wouldn't trust it as far as I could throw it.
Right.
They in the last year have flip-flopped on this policy 4 times. I have been to Saudi in the last calendar year, I want to say 7 times. By the fadl of Allah, 7 times. Yeah, Hajj and Umrah and this and that. In these 7 trips, 4 times they've gone back and changed the Rawdah policy to no limit to limit, to no limit to limit. 5 times to now no limit. Now they've got this papas of GPS located, you can be. And what does that mean? How's that going to work in Hajj when there's a GPS located? The whole world is going to be sitting there right next to the thing again. What does that even mean? I don't trust it at all. And in my opinion, you should assume that in one of these trips, I'm not going to make it to the Rawdah. And if I'm you, I'm going to the Rawdah in March.
Right. So the Rawdah isn't, you guys don't book the Rawdah for the whole group. We have to do it individually for Hajj. When we're there for Hajj.
Correct. The Nusuk app becomes available to use in Hajj like you do when you're in Umrah. Mm-hmm. And you book Rawdah yourself as a Haji. However, sometimes there can be a system outside of Nusuk that Al-Bayt, as a big kind of partner, mm-hmm. can do like a 100 people can go now kind of thing.
Okay.
I want to say to you, and listen to me carefully, They did it for 2024 and it did not work. They did it in 2023 and it did not work. They did it in 2024 and it was not a great experience. They let some in, they didn't let some in. But so if I'm going to be honest and answer your question, because you said, can you guys do it? I want to say that the company claims to. I do not put my trust in it. And if it happens, I treat it as a bonus. And I say, depend upon the app and booking it yourself. So that's what I will be getting people ready to book it. And I'll get everyone ready and I'll make sure that everyone does it at the right time and that it's going to be the best benefit in terms of the timing. We'll have a whole section on the whole Rawdah thing. Don't worry about that.
Okay, inshallah. I'm sorry. And one last question. It's about
but listen to me.
Yeah.
If I'm in your shoes, I am not missing out in doing it in March. And I'm not a massive fan of the Rawdah visits, by the way. That will come later, my explanation and everything. But if I'm in your shoes, I'm getting it, a bird in hand is worth more than two in the bush. We leave the Hajj one. You might get it, might not get it, but treat it like a bonus. Grab the March one whilst you can.
Okay, inshallah. And also my final question was about Muzdalifah. How does that, well, maybe I'm just getting a little bit ahead of myself, but I thought as I have the opportunity to ask a question, I'd rather ask it than just think about it, because it's quite the unknown for me. So about Muzdalifah, about getting there, and because it's going to be quite hot, and I think you have to spend the night there, don't you, in Muzdalifah? How will that work logistically and with the heat and everything? If you can sort of elaborate on that a little.
So I can't elaborate on it because it is absolutely way before the time. Mm-hmm. However, what I will tell you to kind of give you that tasalli, give you that kind of, that calm, is that Muzdalifah cannot be explained. It has no rhyme, reason, sense. None of it makes any sense what's going to happen. None of it. But it will all click into place, whatever does. The theory is, as you said, we're going to a place spending the night, but hold on, where's the beds? Where's the tents? Where's the bedding? What about the heat? Blah, blah, blah. In practice, what happens is that most people don't even go to sleep. Some people only get there for 20 minutes. Some people get there for 2-3 hours. In practice, some people are so tired that they just literally lie down on the dirt and they go to sleep. In practice, some of us are able to get women together into a small area and others men into another area. The simplest way to understand Muzdalifah is to let yourself go with the flow. And the people who are best able to enjoy and survive and to thrive in Muzdalifah are people who are being trained for it, like in our program. You'll see that everything is building up to make sure that it doesn't become the shock to your system like it's currently sounding to you right now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah?
Right, yeah.
And what I'd advise you to do is to go into the Hajj with AE website. And I want you to go to the experience tab at the top and you'll see a section on Hajj. And I want you to watch all the videos that are there. You'll see footage from the old trips that we've done last year, year before, blah, 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 blah. There'll be one that'll be coming out, inshallah, this week as well. And you'll see the way that the people are there. It's indescribable and you embrace it. Do not worry about it. And I'll be going into it in loads of detail in the right time.
Okay, Jazakallah Haydan. Thank you so much.
Let's go with Awaz.
We can go with Awaz, with that, but are we staying until Fajr? What's the plan here, bro?
You tell me when you want to shut things down.
Come on, bro. You are the worst presenter in human history. You know Rizwan in Umrah, Quest for Peace or whatever the crap it was called. I should have brought him in and made him the presenter. Honestly. At least he can pronounce Cameroon properly. Oh, no, he can't. Anyway.
Yeah, you let me know when you need to go.
I don't know, man. I mean, there's 114 brave, hardy souls left.
It's almost Fajr anyway. Carry on, Sheikh.
It's almost Fajr in Qatar, right? And that's crazy. And Sheikh Walid has just mentioned that he's just arrived. That's another sick one. And Shazad Salim, who should have been here, has completely blanked it. that was meant to be the excuse, and he's not even here. So we're just sitting here, yani burning the midnight oil. I reckon that we give it another 10 minutes. Yallah, 10 minutes.
Okay. Awaz, if not Awaz and Azhar, please unmute yourself to ask your question.
Assalamu alaikum. Session today. I did actually miss the first part, so I'm not sure if you actually covered this, but alhamdulillah, I did get the email a couple of days ago that I've been verified. I did actually choose the shifting package because that was in the video, but I don't actually I can't really add to my eWallet. Is that normal?
Correct, yeah. So make sure you do watch the recording because it is important. And number two, when the eWallet becomes active, then we'll let you know. Don't worry, you're in the right channel.
And do you know roughly, because sorry. I got a call earlier today, earlier this week, and from you guys that it's kind of going fast, and that the packages should be open soon. Do you have any idea? I don't know if you covered this, when that will be.
In probably a couple of weeks to view, and by February to buy. So yeah, things. I mean, you got nothing to worry about. You're perfectly in place. Don't worry about anything.
Okay, Jazakallah khair. Thank you.
Okay, Awaz, barakallah feek.
Azhar, please unmute yourself to ask your question.
Hubi had to let us start, so he's gone. So I will be talking. Okay, so my husband and I registered together, but we did it on our separate laptops. And all I really need to know is, I think we've ended up making 2 separate accounts. So he did it on his laptop, I did it on mine. He used his email address, I used mine. So we've sort of gone through as 2 separate people. Is that correct? Is that what's happened?
That is what's happened, yes. Yeah. And you want to be in a double room, right?
We've not decided. We're not. You've talked me into a quad room. He's not sure.
Sick.
If I'm honest.
Either way, they need to link their accounts.
Do they? Though?
Is it an issue?
Yeah,
is it an issue?
But as the chief just said, either way, you're going to need to link the accounts. It doesn't matter what the decision is in the end. What matters is that you're both going to do it. So you're either both going to get a double or you're both going to get a quad. It doesn't actually matter so much, but you need to link the accounts. So what happens now?
The issue with not linking is it could be that you get a place and he doesn't get a place on the Hajj itself.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I was going to ask.
So what you're going to do is you're going to family link. So whoever wants to be the lead profile, which can be you if you want, you will go to the settings in the top right corner, and it's something like my profile or blah blah blah, whatever it is, and it says add family member. Right?
Yeah, we saw that after. We didn't. Yeah. We just thought it would. Anyway, I don't know what we were thinking.
That and put in the email, put in the details, and then the other party will receive an email, and it will say, "Do you want to be added?" And then you say yes, and then when you sign back in again, it will be connected.
Oh, alhamdulillah, that sounds quite straightforward.
No, it's very, very straightforward. It's actually very straightforward.
Okay, we should do that.
Barakallah. Please go ahead, Anas Muhamed Ghazali.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. I would like to hopefully joining your group, but I'm going to flying out from Norway. Am I able to buy from the gateway from London, from Norway, in my Nusuk?
So, wallahi, Anas, at this moment in time, actually, I am struggling at this moment in time, Anas, to work out how you can join us this year. The reason I say that is because last year they made provision for people to join even if they don't have a group flight. This year, they don't have that system. Now, what you just said is, can I take the UK one and fly to the UK?
Yeah.
The answer is no, because theoretically, up until now, and this could change, by the way, it could change. Up until now, the only people that will see the UK option are people whose passport is linked to the UK. Yeah. You are traveling on a Norwegian passport. Norway has its own quota. It will only, when it goes live, it will have its own quota and its own group flights that it expects the Norwegian pilgrims to buy when Nusuk goes live. And that's the same for Spain and France and for Amsterdam and for all the other countries.
Okay.
And because we do not have a group flight flying from Norway, you will not see our package available as far as I know, number one. Number two, what we've been told is that those countries that were not able to exhaust their quota, and I am not sure whether Norway exhausted its quota last year. I can't remember. I have a feeling that it wasn't exhausted, or certainly wasn't exhausted like the American and the Canadian ones that go in 10 minutes. Theoretically, after a week is what the Nusuk management said, rumors, is that after a week when the group flight options are opened, those countries who did not exhaust their quota will have the option of buying a custom flight from wherever they want and joining. The problem is, not that could you join as part of the London contingency. You'd be able to do that. The problem is, would your quota of your country 1 week later still be enough for you to buy that custom flight option? That's the problem. That's the part that we can't answer. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's, and I've got to ask myself in front of Allah, can I tell you, Anas, I need you to come with me. I want you to come with me. So don't buy in the first phase, buy in the second phase. I don't think that's permissible for me to say that, because I know that you buying in the second phase is a risk. You are basically hoping that the Norwegian quota did not sell out in the first phase. And if it did, and I've told you to wait for the 1 week later to get the custom flight and join us, Yani, from Norway, and the quota for Norway is gone, then that's upon my head. You missed out on going to Hajj because your Norwegian quota thing. Now, it doesn't need to be that negative as well. I can also say, just like what Nusuk did in 2024, that they could increase the quota. And they did increase the quota in phase 2, but it was seen like a charity move. I remember the way that they were treating it. They were saying that, okay, we're going to just throw in a few more 100 visas to some countries. And that's what they did. But can you rely upon that? No way, man. Can you? You can't put the case. You can't rely on that. So you've got to look to yourself and say that the obligation upon me is to go to Hajj. Whoever I go with, I've got to go. And I wish that we could offer it like we did last year, but the system is not doing it this year because there was a lot of problems with this custom flight approach.
Understood.
Stay tuned in the channel, of course, bro. Any update that we get on that front, you'll see me release it. Okay?
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.
Really quickly, Ridwana, maybe? Ridwana, please unmute yourself. Question.
Ridwana? Oh, that's my Ridwana. With that, can you open up the chat, please? Yeah, and just do that thing. Ridwana, how you doing?
I'm okay, alhamdulillah. How are you?
Are you planning this year? You and Bips and everyone, yeah?
Well, I kind of wasn't planning. My mum was listening to this and I was eavesdropping. And now I'm trying to think how I can make it work. But actually, my question was answered earlier by someone asking if they could join the London flights from America. So I won't take up anyone else's time.
Sheikh, all right. Yallah, give salam to mum, yeah? Salam alaikum.
Are we closing it there, Sheikh?
I think so. I think so. I think we've been on for a long time. Guys, anyone who's got questions, don't worry. The chat's going to be open now, although you must be dreaming if you think I'm going to go in there. I'm going to sleep. But it's going to remain open, and we're going to have these lives regular. Keep your notifications on for the channel. Turn it off for the chat. Turn it off for all chats. I have no idea how anybody survives bloody Telegram chats. Turn off notifications, but for the channels, you've got to keep it on, especially the Hajj with AE one, if you're serious. We're going to be releasing quite a bit of different stuff in there. Whenever we release something in a channel, it's important. When we're chatting rubbish, we chat rubbish in the chat. And we fun and enjoy and joke in the chat. But the channel we take very seriously. We protect it. We only post important stuff. Okay, folks? Anyway, Jazakumullah khair to the people who kept in there. And for those people who are watching the recording, well done to you guys as well for lasting the full 3 hours, it seems, or 2.5. Jazakumullah khair to the team for everybody being here. Chief, last word?
I think let's just do a quick kind of timeline on what's going to come next. Yeah, because I think it's all a bit up and down. So next we think that the Nusuk will show the packages. Okay.
Yeah, so if we're now looking at Friday the 10th today, it's now Friday the 10th we've moved into, then we can now suggest that in the next week, anytime in the next week, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, we expect that the e-wallets will become activated. That activation will mean that you can pay into it. That's what we're expecting. Somewhere around the same time period, probably a few days later, same 15, 16, 17, 18, we expect all of the Al-Bayt packages and others, because there's lots of companies, all to be showing and displaying their packages on Nusuk. You'll be able to browse and see and look and check flights and see things and whatever. Then we expect in the first week of February, maybe the first day or the first week of February, with a heads up of a few days, to be given the date and time that is going live. By then, you would have been expected to obviously been verified, and don't panic, it will happen. You've credited your account with the amount for all of the people in your family in your wallet, and you have already made it clear which one you're going with, and you've kind of saved it or favorited it or put it into your basket even. Yes, into your basket. Then it goes live, and we'll be there. And when it goes live, it will just be a mass effort where we're all trying to guide people whilst on the Telegram channel. Do this now, go this, that, don't do this, do that. And hopefully everyone will then purchase in that first week of February if the Nusuk timelines prove to be accurate. Once that's been achieved, then you can get to relax a little bit. Enjoy the silence. Then slowly by slowly, the visa process will start and our program will start privately, right? So we will be doing things separate to the Nusuk system, but then it will be applying for, go do fingerprints, which is a pain in the backside. And then you got to then get the visa, which will come automatically. That's easy enough. That's a rough timeline. Nice one, Chief, for reminding me that. And yeah, we'll keep active with you guys in the chat and keep an eye on the channel. And Jazakumullah khair. And with that, please do the recording and then, but send it to other. Obviously, you're not going to release it. Yeah, we're going to upload it to YouTube so that it's easier to see. So put it in the other group, and I'll then share the link later on. And Shazad Salim, you appearing for the last 5 minutes has fooled absolutely nobody. Don't you even think for 1 second that we think that you've been here for even more than only 3 seconds. وجزاكم خير سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك اللهم وأتوب إليك والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Been here for the 3.5 hours, thank you.
Nobody believes
4
it.
hours, man. I was going to say it off, man. 4 hours later.
You are sacked. You are absolutely blag. Good luck with that. Please close. Please don't delete the recording. Please keep that in it. Shazad Salim's best being fully done. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.